And welcome back to episode 14 of the Unpaid and Underrated podcast. We are a podcast by crew for crew, and we have a full house tonight. I've got my co-host here, Big Joey.
I can't right now.
We
Go
have a
ahead.
special we have another special guest, Big Joey.
Hey, that's me.
And we have a one of our editors and chief editor,
Optimus
technical guy.
Optimus Prime drowning in a shallow puddle.
Yeah. I don't know if
Otherwise
Nate
known.
has. Yep. Not sure if Nate's figured out his audio issues yet, but he will join us when he can.
Nate, can you give us just a heads up or hello or something?
I don't think he can hear us. I think he's just frozen. I really think he's just messing with us the whole thing.
He's totally messing with us
The
right now.
whole
How we
thing is a
changed
bit-
cameras? How'd you get
Okay.
two cameras?
So we'll just pretend Nate's not here until he actually starts talking. So,
Word.
either of the Big Joeys, what are you guys drinking this week?
Oh, I have nothing at the moment. So if
Nothing.
you got something in your hands, go.
Yeah. Oh, actually, should we do the sack segment? Because I think that's going to parlay into the drink. From what Damager said, he wanted me to have a beer ready. So I'm gonna. What do you want to tell your half a sack story, and then I can do my sack? I'm assuming. Or should I go first because yours is already open?
I'm gonna get a
I'm guessing.
beer, and then I'm
Okay.
gonna get ready for the sack segment.
All right.
So sorry, Joey. We all have a sack segment today, and as per the sister segment, we would do
Yep.
all of this stuff before we get the guest on.
So
I hope
Big
we
Jack
warned you
and
about this.
I'm pretty sure it was Big Jack and Ginger sent us a sack segment, right? Is that who it was? No. Was it the guy that looks? Oh, it was the guy that looks like him. It was was it Dingalinger? Big
Dylan
Chris-
Dam.
Yeah, Big Chris Damager. He sent us a sack segment. Pretty sure mine arrived at my house like 3 weeks ago, and Joey showed up like 4 days
Yesterday.
ago.
I think yesterday.
Yeah,
Oh,
2 days ago.
So a fun thing about me going away for 3 days to like work retreats, my most recent Massonomics drop is going to show up tomorrow.
Nice,
The
but you're
day I
gone.
leave for 3 days of like Carol Stream.
Perfect timing.
Carol Stream once again. All right, I'm gonna get out my fancy knife here. But he was actually shocked. He said it wasn't going to get to us, and
Are we
it
going at the
did.
same time?
Well,
No,
I'm gonna
you-
cut.
I
I'm
mean,
gonna
you had
cut
mentioned
mine.
half a sack, so that's why I was kind of confused.
Well, Dammy, which I think
Yeah.
we've started calling him suddenly now, has told me that this would go better with a bottle of Keith's. But here's the thing: I
Okay.
don't drink bottles, and I find them impossible to get.
Gotcha.
So we're gonna open this up. Are you ready?
Yeah, let's do it. So Big Chris Damager, he sent us looks to be a skinny. I'm gonna call it a skinny beer koozie with our unpaid and underrated logo on it. With our it does. Because as everyone knows, I've bitched many a time. That actually fits my Michelob Ultra can perfectly. If anyone has been listening, I have complained many a time about all the Massonomics koozies being too floppy for a skinny Mick Ultra can or a bottle. So this is actually a perfect size koozie for that. So I might have just found my new go-to koozie.
Yeah, it'll fit nothing that I drink.
Yeah, there's no way you're putting a Keats in there. Like
I will do what I want, sir.
Yeah,
Sometimes you got to pull the mirrors in and just
It was
see if you can fit in the
snug
spot.
fit for the Mick Ultra can.
Yeah,
I
buddy,
actually-
that's in there.
Yeah, I think he did a really good job too. Because I had ordered like a thing or I got it for Christmas, like a hard shell koozie for skinny cans, but it's too tall. It's literally like the same height as the can. So as you're drinking it, you're just like fucking licking the plastic koozie thing. Whereas one Damager sent us has about almost an 3/4 of an inch gap between the top of the koozie and the actual can. So there's no koozie to mouth connection.
And
No.
now it is red.
You
It's
just gotta
not
put in-
orange.
No, yeah, it's
You just got to put an ab mat barbell pillow on the bottom
Yeah,
of the
yeah.
plastic one.
There you go. To raise it up a hair. That's good stuff.
No, that's good work, Dammy. That's good work. That it does actually fit my the big can. It's just like
I'm
I
gonna stretch
said,
it out.
a bit of a tight squeeze. He spelled
Alright.
things right, which we got that going for us. That actually
Nice.
is
Oh, yeah,
pretty
no,
rare.
So unpaid and underrated. Yep, perfect. Love it. Yeah, because it's got the big U and U on the front, and then in a vertical font, unpaid and underrated going up the side. So really appreciate that, Chris. Thank you, buddy. And so yeah, I'm obviously drinking a Mick Ultra, and I got a hop water to get into in a little bit. Joey's knocking out a Keats, and what about other Joey, American Joey? Actually, I think it'll be American. It'll be Joey and American Joey. I think that's how I'm going to do it.
I've got a black cherry polar seltzer, which is
Nice.
one of my favorites.
Love it. Good.
Yeah, the polars are pretty popular.
Awesome.
I grabbed some when we were down there.
Oh, with the drink
Keeping
spotter
it
light
safe.
ready to go. Now do you actually have something metal to? Yeah, just stick that big magnet right to your computer to be fine.
Yeah. I put it right on the hard drive. Figure that'll
Mhm.
work.
I think that's what happened to Nate's audio right before this. He put his drink sputter light right on his microphone and fucked up the internals.
I hate that this might be a bit and he's getting us with it.
Yeah, fucker. Can like he keeps like I think my like everyone like if you guys text me during the podcast, I don't see it unless I pick up my phone because I don't have any alerts set it up. So after like 8 o'clock, so like there's times I'm podcasting, I look and there's like 30 messages with like that Nate and Joey have gone back and forth. So I'm sure he's talking to us right now, but I'm not seeing him. But this week I'm wearing everyone's favorite All Go No Show. I'm actually wearing it this time too, not as some previous people might have been a little lying when they said they were wearing one. I'm actually wearing one.
They were all wearing them. I don't know what you're talking about.
Possibly. We'll have to get Nate on to confirm, but I don't think that's going to happen. What about you, American Joey? What do you got on tonight, buddy?
I've got on the Strong and Silly shirt, which is my current favorite Massonomics t-shirt.
Easily one of the best. I'm so happy they went with that eventually. Right. I've got my favorite, which is the Pursuit of Strength. The chase never ends.
Now I know you've been asking for that in a banner. So the trick I think is just gain another 15 pounds to where that shirt doesn't fit, and just put it right on the wall, and that's your banner. That's your Pursuit of Happiness banner, or the Pursuit of Strength banner.
It's not. I'm not even gaining weight. I'm still the same weight. That's what bothers me. Like I'm still within 10 pounds of when I was wearing smalls. So it's all water weight. It's all creatine water weight.
There you go.
And trend. It's all trend.
Yeah. I think I saw some. Now, did anyone see any trend commercials at the Super Bowl or anything like that? I don't think I caught any. I was going to do a whole segment about commercials, but I can't really remember any of them. Like I saw a couple movie trailers I wanted to go see. Other than that, I'm like, I don't know. I didn't. Usually there's like multiple memorable ones, but I didn't have too many that stood out.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Super Bowl commercials. Oh, now who's doing a bit?
Oh, yeah. Okay. So the Super Bowl was this weekend.
Yes, it was. Yes. Two days.
Yes.
2 days
and
ago.
we finally saw closure to the Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce arc, right?
Yeah, hopefully.
Right. Like we finally saw.
Yeah, it was the season finale.
So
it's all a work. And we're all discovering now that even football is scripted. Like, you guys want wrestling's fake? Tell me that now. Tell me that now. I actually don't know who won though. Did his team win?
Taylor Swift won.
Taylor Swift won? Great.
Yeah, she won.
Usher lost, I heard.
I'm
lying. The only thing I watched was his performance.
Was the halftime show? Yeah.
Like I literally walked into my dad's room because the kids were sleeping in the living room, and I was like, "Put this on for me, please." And then when Lil Jon came out, I got pretty amped because I was just like, "I hope Lil Jon's showing up," and of course he did.
Well, I think they had to because like most of the songs that I knew of his were collaboration songs. So I'm like, well, he's just gonna get up there and sing his part to like these like 4 really really famous songs that he's not the only vocalist on. So I was like, okay, it made sense that they brought in at least 2 or 3 people to do their songs with him.
What? You're telling me Confessions isn't on your radar?
Maybe I can confess that it's probably not.
All right, good pun. You got me on that one. But either way, Confessions is definitely on my radar. Yeah.
Who was that? One of the Davids was giving us shit for when we do have a witty joke that we explain it and that ruins it. Well, fuck you, David.
Yeah, I like that one of the former guests came on to say this has never been funny.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, your episode was top tier, not funny. Huh?
Yeah, self-burn.
It's good stuff. The 2 Joeys meme that Brian had posted about an hour ago was pretty funny, though. I think everyone got a kick out of that.
That made me laugh out. Like I was in bed and I just happened to open Instagram and see that you had posted it, and I laughed out loud. And Morgan said from the other room, "Okay, now what?"
Nice.
So, all right. Hey Nate, what are you wearing?
Yo, the technical guy Nate in the building. I think I just blew Keith's
so fucking loud.
Yeah. You blew us all, buddy. You blew us all. That was so loud. That was like the opposite of Swim Hack last week. He was on like level 2 and Nate came on at level 12.
But see, look at this. It goes up to 11. And now he's not saying anything.
You asked him a question.
Our technically
What are you
guy's
wearing,
doing
Nate?
great.
Now, bye, Nate. Okay.
Gone again.
We're not gonna just don't let him back in. I think he's just fucking with us.
I hope so.
Let's see. I got a couple of things. So, since I just mentioned Swim Hack, if anyone had listened to last week's episode, his like one, I think one of the top things he had mentioned for a bench accessory was heavy holds, like unracking something like 20 to 75 pounds above your PR or whatever, and just holding it for 10 seconds. So I've done that twice so far at like, I don't know, I did it at 300, 315, and 335. So anywhere from like 30 to 50 pounds more than my PR. Dude, that's challenging. Like I still don't think it smokes my triceps like a board press does. Like I'll still argue that like a two board is more beneficial for me than a heavy unrack, but it was still pretty cool to unrack literally 50 pounds more than or 50 pounds more than I've ever comp pressed before. Just hold it there for 10 seconds and like watching the video back and you can like see my triceps like almost convulsing and shit. And my arms kind of like shimmying and back and forth. But I don't know if anyone else has tried it yet, but it's something I'll definitely implement during prep, at least for this, run and, see what happens. But I think, James has a 672 raw bench. So I'll give him the benefit of the doubt that I'll try it.
I've tried those for squats. Oh no,
yeah,
Joey,
me too.
Joey, good. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I was just
you throw it on your shoulders
for squat.
You throw it on your shoulders and just see if you can even stand with it, right? And maybe you'll do like a 1/8 squat just to see like how it feels going up and down. I've done it on squats. Obviously, you can't do it on deads. That's just a rack pull.
Yeah.
You might just do a rack pull to see like, can I even get this into a lockout? I haven't done a rack pull in 4 years. So I can't say I've done any of that, but maybe I will start playing with those on bench because my bench sucks right now. So we'll see if maybe Swim Hack can teach me something.
See if he can help you out. Let's see. So I listened to one of Huck Finn's he did like the one. So Huck Finn has like 3 different podcasts. One that he does with just his old lady sometimes. I think it's the Huck Finn Barbell Show. And sometimes it's actually a good episode. This week was literally just them trying to set up their cameras and just him and his wife, like just not really communicating well. It was like probably the worst episode they've ever had that I've ever listened to. But it was really funny because the one thing that segued into that they had mentioned that Rep Fitness got a 1-year ban from the Arnold. And I was like, well, take that with a grain of salt because Huck Finn said something. So I don't really believe Huck Finn when he says anything technical. But I actually mentioned it to one of my group chats with my home gym buddies, and Jake from Garage Gym Experiment actually confirmed it that he heard it was true. So it was just interesting. The whole thing they were banned from what I heard was they had a shirt last year that had either the Arnold logo or the picture of Arnold or something to do with an Arnold. So they were like all pissy because of like copyright infringement kind of. So Big Grant, if you're listening, better watch out because you've got a whole sticker that literally has Arnold's logo on it. So I would hate to see you get kicked out of the Arnold or banned next year. Because if anything, you're trying to fucking promote the Arnold, but they don't want people to do that because they're not making money off of it. So find that kind of, Bush League by, the Arnold. I'm curious what everyone else's opinion is if they have one.
I think sometimes you got to calm down on jumping in on who you criticize, why and when. You're a little quick every once in a while. The Arnold has every right to protect their brand. They have every right and reason to do so, and that might not even be the reality, right?
Yeah.
Maybe Rep One Fitness did something fucking egregious that we don't know about. I would say that, as somebody who has been to the Arnold, loves the Arnold, and is going again this year, I'm going to say I don't care. I don't even know who Rep One Fitness is.
No, it's Rep Fitness, not Rep One Fitness. It's Rep Fitness has a 1-year ban.
It's just Rep Fitness.
Yeah.
And that's how much that entire concept means to me.
It's like they're like Bells of Steel, but better.
Yeah, exactly. That's a very good example of everybody relax. Everything is fine.
That's funny.
Don't fuck around because then you find out sometimes.
I just found it was odd because like there's definitely other people there that would have shirts and stuff with their logo. Like I don't know. I don't even know I don't remember seeing what shirt they were talking about, but I know people in the past have had.
And that's my point. If you are like, we're at the Arnold and you have the Arnold thing, that's one thing. But if you're like, we are the Arnold and you have a spoof of it.
Yeah, I'm not sure what.
Then maybe, yeah. Until we're sure, I think it's just time to like chill on calling anybody anything, especially the fucking Arnold. Like where most of our friends make money, Keith. They make money hand over fist.
I'm the Arnold now.
There he
is that the bit we
goes.
do?
Oh, wait. Oh, his audio works?
Hey, so I've been through like 3 devices. I've been going through it tonight.
We left Joey out of the orange glasses, Come.
I'll have to mail him some. I'll send Joey a sack. No, I booted up this little Macintosh here I have sitting over in the corner.
Leave those on. Keith got a picture.
Right.
Yeah.
Keith got a picture while we chat here. Oh, keep talking. Like you can talk during a picture, Nate.
Listen, I'm so upset right now. You can't talk through a picture because then the faces look all weird. Okay, I can edit all of this in post. That's the only thing I was thinking while all of this was happening was like, I'm just creating more work for me this weekend that I have to edit all of my mistakes out, and I'm getting really annoyed.
You have extra time since we're recording on a Tuesday. You almost have you have 6 days.
I have negative time. I'm just losing time this week. It's insane at the rate I'm losing time this week. The Arnold, I wanted to say, I'm like, I don't know, 80% sure last year, Grant did have like the Arnold flexing silhouette, at least on the back of the shirt they did for like the Arnold, but they were also like ultra premier sponsor. I have that shirt. I wore it like a day ago. But yeah, so I'm curious what shirt it was and like why in the world Rep One Fitness, whoever they are, would get banned from the Arnold. I mean, maybe it's a cover-up job. It's like an inside job kind of thing.
Oh, it's a psyop.
Yeah, like I think it's a conspiracy. I don't think Rep One Fitness is even real, honestly. If you ask me, how do you wear these glasses the entire night, Keith? These are terrible.
Let me tell you, he wears them all day, and then all evening, and then all night, and then he puts them on again in the morning.
I'll put my other ones on for the listeners at home. Since the listeners at home only got to listen to me unbox these, I'll put them on.
I think we still have people complaining about that one.
All right, let's jump into rating last week's episode.
Hold on, I haven't finished all my stuff. I need to get through.
Here we go. We have like a guest to get to.
I just wanted
5 words.
I don't think there's a guest on this week.
I wanted to shout out
Keith and Joey.
I wanted to shout out my shirt. I got a cool shirt, Joey. Look, it's got my wife on it.
Oh, nice.
My wife.
And your wife that has to go deal with the kids that you just woke up by screaming, probably.
No, they'll be fine. That's not the loudest. It's just my wife.
Nice.
He's not even saying it right. My wife.
It's my wife. I got this for Christmas, and I was like, crap, I got to go downstairs. I need a Massonomic shirt, and then I just saw that on the top of. I was like, I'll just wear my wife's shirt. That works as well. No, it's in the Massonomics lore.
It's adjacent for sure.
Okay, sorry. Okay, bye. I'll leave the podcast now.
No, don't leave the podcast. We have things for you. Like, join us for a little bit. Stop screaming at me all the time.
So big Joey E. You want to rate last week's episode for us? Kick it off with a little 1 to 5 on the Massonomics iPod Gym Touches scale.
Yeah, it's wild being on a recording because last week's episode was literally yesterday's episode. But I didn't really know Shane Haller at all and was a little iffy going into it. But then he mentioned how much he loves cats, and that really turned me around. So I think I'm going to go with a bold out there rating of 5 Massonomics Gym iPod Touches.
Nice. It's a good rating. I did listen to last week's episode, but I'm actually going to rate an episode from, the backlog because I was pretty much sick and bedridden multiple days recently. So episode 77, I believe, was when Tanner survived a hurricane, and him and, one of the other guests or one of the other hosts talked about his experience with one of the hurricanes in 2017, I think. And it was a really informative, good episode of a little sneak peek of what was going on 2017 in Tanner's life. So for all those reasons, I'll go ahead and give that a 5 out of 5 Massonomics Gym iPod Touches.
I had a lot of fun listening to 1.5. There's 2 things that are really funny at 1.5 speeds. It is the cool beans that he plays. It is suddenly like hard style is what I couldn't get out last week. That's what it is. It's hard style techno. And Tommy in general at 1.5 speeds is always going to be my favorite. That dude already talks kind of fast, but he has like he starts really slow, but then he gets really cool, and then he starts to slow down again. So at 1.5, like you miss almost all of what Tommy says. So for that reason, it's going to get a 5.0. I'm going to go out on the rails and give it a 5.0 Massonomics iPod touches. I don't know if I'm allowed to do that, but yeah, we don't usually do the points on this, the point something. So
is no one going to address the travesty that Keith just committed? Are we just going to glaze right over that?
Oh,
what did I do this time?
What I miss?
Keith is just rating whatever episode he wants.
What episode did he? I thought the Shane Haller. I thought it was the Shane Haller episode.
73 of the podcast.
Joey doesn't even listen.
Joey doesn't even listen to you.
I was making memes. How dare you?
That does remind me of the making the meme things. We had a lot of traction when I Tanner literally called me out to like, oh, send this to Tom and see if we can get him to come to let's get the Lift Hard Live Easy. So I literally cropped the video. I was like, oh, I'm gonna tag fucking like 15 people on it, and sure enough, I was like, it was funny because I think from the time I had heard Tanner say that, and like when I listened to the podcast Monday, I had like the whole thing posted like 10 minutes later. So I was pretty proud of that.
That's impressive.
We're doing great from a technical standpoint. From a me paying attention standpoint, we're having a great podcast. Joey,
the technical aptitude that we have on this call this week is way too high for the level of difficulty that I've had with the most basic form of technology.
Yeah. You should really be embarrassed, Nate.
I am embarrassed, quite honestly.
I'm also at like if there's a level of exhaustion somebody could be at.
Oh, yeah.
Like I'm at like 9.5 out of 10 on the Glaze exhaustion scale because like
that doesn't exist. It's
my kids were sick, and then I got sick, and then I'll tell you, I finally took a couple days off work, and I was like, guys, I'm just not coming in. The schedule is adjusted, so you guys will be fine without me. And then Morgan got like downright in bed for a day sick, so I went from like being completely out of it to full-time dad. And like I was like, well, that's okay, because if you're at 20% and I'm at 80%, I guess I'm making up the difference. It's just like what you do, you tag in, right? You tag in as a parent or whatever. And God, that did me right in. So I'm at 9.5, which luckily for us puts me way farther on the silly spectrum. Like it's not like not on
Let's go.
Yeah. Like I'm just here to have fun at this rate. Throw whatever you can at me.
Does it make you any stronger or just sillier?
Definitely. Actually, my squats yesterday flew to the point that I was kind of concerned that I undershot my readiness, because they kind of flew. So did the overhead press. And then I'm just not going to get to work out at all this week because I'm not going to work out in a hotel gym. They don't even have barbells. Weirdos. I'm going to bring my own barbell. Just throw my Texas Power Bar in the back of my car. This is mine now. I'm just bringing this into the gym. Smash up the pool floor because the gym's right next to the pool. Just completely disrupt the entire building doing 400-pound reps. Let's do it. Why not?
Do it live. The only thing you forgot about that is you also have to bring the 400 pounds of plates also, which is more challenging to load up than just one barbell.
No, I got hundos. I got those hundos. That makes things a little easier. Not at all from like an exhaustion standpoint.
Yeah.
Just from I had to do less trips.
Yep.
I would give the episode 5 iPod touches, by the way.
Nice.
Who
now, like last
the
week's
fuck
episode,
are you?
77.
Which episode?
I would like to give episode 33 of the Massonomics podcast 5 iPod touches, because apparently nothing matters anymore. There's no organization. There's no structure to this. Keith, you're gonna ruin poor Kevin's spreadsheet that we keep.
Yeah.
I mean, suddenly you have 4 or 3 hosts on. You've got 2 Joeys on. It's chaos over here.
That's why Nate joined, is because we just couldn't have more Joeys than others.
Yeah, to balance the ratio.
Yeah, it's the next nomination. Like, you're not a Joey. Like, relax. We got this podcast.
Yeah. Next week we're gonna have a literal baby No, shoot out. Kangaroo, that's the word. It would have been better if I had that word in my pocket, but all I could think was giraffe. All right.
Longest
Right.
nose breath on a podcast by me tonight.
Nice. I think that covers most of our general topics. So, Big Joey E, would you like to do a little Massonomic sponsor read for us? You got anything ready for the guest?
Yeah, let me get this sponsor read out there so we can get the guest on the horn.
Nate, do you think you can kick some
This week's
people out
episode.
while he reads this ad?
Oh yeah,
Dude, if I try to do that, I'm
on it then. I'm on it.
All I know
Sorry
is
to interrupt you again, Joey, but like,
that's all right.
I don't think I could do anything tonight. I'm afraid to speak. I'm done.
go ahead, buddy.
This week's episode of Unpaid and Underrated is brought to you by Aberdeen Strength Training. In late 2014, a small upstart YouTube channel was formed by some dudes just being dudes and lifting weights. Not satisfied by merely taking the YouTube world by storm, they quickly founded a gym and started designing and selling t-shirts out of the trunk of their car. After realizing that the internet was a much bigger trunk of a much bigger car, they started selling their hilarious lifting adjacent merch to the masses. Along with this phenomenal growth came a name change to Massonomics and the founding of the world's first lifting podcast about nothing. Whether you're a beginner, lifetime intermediate, or advanced lifter, there's no better place than Massonomics to learn how to get strong, stay strong, and use your strength. Become a supporting member today and get access to the Massonomics Discord, a discount code, early access to new drops, and other cool benefits. Visit massonomics.com/join to become a member of crew today.
love it. Well done.
Thank you.
All right, that's good stuff. All right, let's get our guest on the horn there. Hey, Big Joey, is that you?
Yeah, that's me. I'm Big Joey. Wait, are you Big Joey?
I'm one of the Big Joey.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we finally get to do that here. There's like 1,000 mats.
How many Joeys are there? Are there just the two of you, or there's a Joe D?
There's
think,
a
right?
third.
Yeah, there's a Joe, but I don't think they go by
it's-
Joey.
Yeah, it's
so.
Joe.
So they don't have the
Joe E,
same
not Joe D.
problems. They don't have the same problems we have as Joey's, which I'm sure we will get into in some of our guest questions. But you are live on the Unpaid and Underrated podcast. Be prepared to be mocked by people you've never met, but are probably still feeling close to anyway.
Happy to be here.
I guess. So let's go with the lead question. I think that a lot of people really like hearing about what brought you here. Like, what brought you to Massonomics? Tell us your silly goose origin story.
Yeah, so I was actually taking some notes earlier this week to be prepared for this question. The first episode I listened to was episode 342 with Chad Wesley Smith. So I was already doing Juggernaut AI for my programming, and he posted in the Facebook group there that he was going to be on the Massonomics podcast. At that time, I had never heard of it and said, I'll give it a listen. I'll throw it on for my next lifting session and just kind of see what this is about. And about 20 minutes into the episode, I'm like, I don't know what I'm listening to. I thought this was a lifting podcast. I don't know what's going on. Then, he gets on there, he does his interview, they close out the episode, and the next lifting session, I get a notification for another episode. And I say, I'll throw this on again. I don't really know what's going on, but I kind of know who these guests are. I'll see what's going. And then fast forward to May of 2023, I'd been listening on and off for a while. And then I see that there's a new sister podcast in the works, the big sister podcast, if you will, Unpaid and Underrated. I'd been chatting with Keith a little bit on Instagram because we crossed paths at Home Gym Con, but didn't really get a chance to see each other too much there. Started listening to that podcast, and I was like, at this point, I think I'm already in too deep. I think I got to just go ahead and join and become a supporting member and change my entire wardrobe, complain about the blanks, the whole shebang.
Nice.
So I just met some nice guys at a convention and I gave them my personal information, and now I'm part of what I swear is not a cult. Is essentially your story.
Exactly. That's exactly what it is.
Well, welcome. We are happy to have you.
Yeah, I love it, and that is kind of accurate. Like I definitely saw you at home gym con, but we had not really known each other before that, so I don't like. It was one of those things where like I should probably talk to that person, but then you just don't really get it. It's just like you're too not really nervous, but like that's why this podcast exists, because when we see each other next time, we're gonna have already had a freaking 2 hour podcast. Well, 2 hour plus podcast. So that's my whole thing is I want everyone to
Oh,
do
I'm
that.
going for 5.
Yeah, well, you and Nate can do that.
Dude,
together.
I'm ready to roll.
I'm punching out at about
I'm on one tonight. Let's go.
2 hours 45 minutes. I'm going into bed, so you guys do whatever you want after that.
Yeah, I got 3 days of stuff to do tomorrow, and
so I'm pretty sure your IG is not Joey _Molesco. So what is it, Joey?
you can't even spell that.
MLZ. I don't know, something like that.
Oh, come on. You can't. Seriously?
He doesn't listen to this podcast. He doesn't follow me.
MLEZECKO.
So what, Joey? What is your? Give us hit up with your socials.
Spelling bee.
My Instagram handle is much easier to spell. It's joey.echevarria, so it's spelled exactly how it's pronounced.
Oh, duh.
But for anyone that wants the spelling, it's ECHE V as in victory EERRI. Because I didn't have any other ideas when I was making my Instagram handle, I decided to just make it my full name, and I'm in too deep with it. So that's just what it is. The good news is if you start searching Joey Etch in Instagram, I'm pretty sure it shows up. So
that actually is
and
easier
then
to spell than my name. Yeah. Yeah, that actually is. It sounds exactly how it's spelled. Damn it.
And then on Discord, I believe currently I am Big American Joey, because I decided that was the variant of Big Joey that made the most sense for me.
Makes sense to me. Everyone, be sure to go follow go be sure to go follow Big Joey on Instagram, as well as the other Big Joey, because apparently no one's following him either.
Yeah. I apparently don't have enough followers. So where are you from? What's going on there? Like are you Midwest? Or are you like Midwest
I live
adjacent?
in the Midwest.
Yeah.
Well, it depends on your definition of the Midwest. I currently live in Indiana, which I believe most people would classify that as Midwest.
Yeah, it's
everything south of me,
Midwest adjacent.
Everything south of me is Midwest, Joey. So I'm assuming then, yeah.
Oh, perfect. But I'm not originally from here. I'm originally from, grew up first in upstate New York and then upstate South Carolina, and lived a bunch of different places in between.
Where in upstate New York?
The Schenectady area in Scotia, New York.
It's like an hour from me. Cool.
Oh, Nate loved that word.
We're just going through things I can't spell tonight. That's the name of the game, which isn't very hard.
Trying to take notes, and he went, no.
Yep, that's upstate. I can get that one.
Oh, actually, I lied. That's like 3 hours. I was thinking of Skinny Atlas. That's like in Syracuse.
Those are different words.
Schenectady,
the Schenectady and Skinneapolis.
Schenectady's Albany adjacent. And Albany
I was thinking of the Adirondacks.
Yeah. The Otakokes. It's all in the Otakokes. What took you out from like that to where you are now? Like that's a kind of a big jump.
Oh, I mean, I've lived all over. So after South Carolina, I went to college in Pittsburgh to Carnegie Mellon. From there, I moved to the Washington, D.C. area, living in Maryland. And then I moved from there to the United Kingdom, lived there for about 5 years.
Oh, wow.
Went from there back to Maryland, was in Maryland again for another 3 years. And then I moved all the way across the country to San Francisco, lived in San Francisco for 6 years, and came to Indiana because my wife already lived here. They weren't my wife at the time, but we got married after I moved here.
Nice. And now that you have a home gym, I don't think you want to move again, do you?
We actually do want to move. We'd like to move to the Pacific Northwest, but we don't have timing for that yet. And almost every week I'm thinking, okay, I'm going to try to keep this. This I'm definitely going to sell. And then it just keeps changing.
Yeah, I've been there.
Fun story. I've been to one of those places.
San Francisco.
I have been to San Francisco, yeah.
I was just thinking, usually when people are like, I've been everywhere, they've lived in like 2 states. This man has lived in multiple countries. Like, it's like, you're like, yeah, I've lived everywhere. It's like you've just lived in different suburbs of the same city. It's like, I've lived so many places. No, I was here, then I went to the UK.
The UK for 5 years too. So how did so you were there for 5 years? Like, did you almost you kind of like assimilated there to some extent? So when you moved back, was it kind of like a culture shock, or were you just like, did you fall right back into old habits of just being?
I still see hear some of the accent coming through. So,
honestly, it wasn't that big of a culture shock. I had a American friend that also lived in the UK at the time, and he liked to describe it as living in England is like living in the 63rd state. So it's still like it's a little bit further out there compared to the rest of the United States, but it's not that different.
Gotcha.
And then it also helped that at that time I was traveling quite a bit for work. So I went to like a lot of conferences all over the US. So I was probably in the US like 4 or 5 times a year for most of those years.
So for the people that aren't American, where in the UK? Because that's a general area.
for the people that are American, that is like as much as we can handle.
Yeah. Yeah, like the UK means like half of Ireland, not all of Ireland, Scotland, Wales, Britain. Like, where in the UK were you?
So I lived in a small city called Ripon, which was near Leeds and York, if you're familiar with that area. So it was the sort of considered the north of England.
Yeah. Okay, Northern England. Yeah. I'm not familiar with where the cities are, but I know Northern England is. Yeah. I just wanted to, when you say UK, people are like, oh, I lived in London, didn't it? And like, no, like that's a big area. And
I was waiting.
If you are Irish and somebody says the UK, like you've got to make sure like you say like no, like I'm Southern or Northern. So I wanted to just get that clarification. You're gonna say something there, Keith.
I was waiting for him to tell us that he was from like another 6 places in the UK. In that 5 years, he moved every year.
Yeah,
so he just had to name like 7 different townships over there.
Actually, funny story. I've been to all of the countries.
Yeah, every
I am
one
the
of them. So Batman, when did you live in Gotham City?
I lived in Gotham City from approximately 2015 until like 2021. So I got the nickname Batman when I was working for a small startup called Rokana, which doesn't exist anymore. They got bought out by another tech company called Splunk that I'm sure no one on this podcast has heard of except for maybe Nate.
But as startups do.
As startups do.
Hyper Compu Global Meganet just got bought out by Bill Gates. Yep.
And being a startup, they wanted to have a little bit of fun with all of the employees. So when you joined, you got to pick a like celebrity or character or doppelganger, and then you also got to write a bio for yourself on the website. And I was not feeling particularly creative and did not want to write a full bio, so I decided that my bio was I'm Batman, and then my picture and alternate celebrity like avatar was just a picture of Michael Keaton as Batman. And the nickname stuck pretty much for the whole time that I was at Rokana. It started to phase out after we got bought, but yeah. And some would say that I lived in Gotham City when I was in Pittsburgh because that was a stand-in for Gotham City in the third Chris Nolan Batman movie.
So the reason I wanted to bring that up a little early, because there's still more other Massonomics related questions, is I know Nate has a serious, you guys are probably wondering, what the hell is Nate doing on a podcast today? I know Nate has a few questions that are a bit nerdier than me and Keith were ready for. And I know that our audience really likes to kind of hear a little bit about our people's expertise when, it's not too crazy or controversial. So, Nate, I believe you have a series of shit to bore me and Keith with. So consider this wrestling talk for all of you nerds out there. When I go on wrestling or Keith goes on home gym stuff, you're about to experience that. And now you know.
So you give me way too much credit because like 2 hours ago, you sent a screenshot of the show notes, and within that, it contained Joey's current employment status. And I was like, whoa, wait a sec, hold, pump the brakes. Like, this dude's a developer. Like, this is awesome. I don't want to steal your thunder. You should have said that. I can't say that, but I'm going to tell everyone he's a developer. And I was like, birds of a feather. And then I was like, oh, okay, so big tech, Fang, all that stuff. I was like, what are some good, like, overrated, underrated? And I just started like sending like 1,000 messages to Joey and Keith of like, you should like mention this. This is a good joke. Do this thing. Like, try to get this in. And they're like, can you please just come on this episode? And I was like, I guess I don't have anything pointed to actually say. I just had like one-liners that we can get off.
I believe it was, what do these words mean? Can you just do this?
Yeah, that was more
we're kind of toddlers when it comes to this kind of stuff. So just like, Nate, I can't open my drink. Can you just come do this for me?
Yeah, right. But yeah, I don't know. I'm fascinated. I've had friends that have worked in big tech, and it's a wild world. I know you worked at startups and stuff like that, and we always have our segment where we say, Keith goes, how does he say it? He's like, we like to ask people what they do for work. If you don't want to talk about it, it's completely fine. You can say as much or as little as you'd like to. So we'll open the floor to that. I'd love to hear about it. If they would have done it, I would have just sat editing this podcast. Like, why didn't they ask him about like all of these things? So I guess I'm here to ask all of those questions now. But yeah, tell us about what you do.
Yeah. Well, I've been a software developer pretty much my whole career. So started that right out of college. Originally actually worked for the US government, the National Security Agency. I can't tell you too much about what I did there. But that is how I ended up in England. So they flew me over there and put me up for the time that I was there. After my time there, I decided I wanted to make a little bit of money before I died. So I moved over to the private sector and decided to work for a startup. So the first startup I worked for was a company called Cloudera that still exists. They went public and then they went private again, which a lot of tech companies do. And then I bounced around to another startup. They got bought out, and now I'm at Netflix, which is the first job since I worked in the government that people actually recognize the name of the company when I tell them the name of the company that I work for.
Makes sense.
Yeah. No, so I saw that you were a developer at Netflix, and I was like, okay, I need to know like where else he might have been. Like, I was like, if he works at Netflix, he has to have a LinkedIn. So I was like, let me just go like hop on LinkedIn real quick before we hop on and see where he's been. And I scroll through and I just see like NSA, and I was like, okay, all right, well that just level sets that this guy's like pretty legit. Okay, 7 years at the NSA. All right, let's go. Like, I was like, are we allowed to make jokes about that? I don't know. I'm not going to feed Joey and Keith any jokes about the NSA, but if we were worried about our call not being recorded, it is now. So yeah, that's how did you so I've had friends that have their like life's desire was to work at the NSA because they loved like security and cryptology and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
What led you to
like cryptozoology?
No, that's not the right word, but I can't think of the right word. They're a big math nerd, more or less.
Cryptology.
Yeah. Just like ciphers and encryption and things like that, and reverse engineering, bad security stuff. They loved all of that, which is out of my realm of technical expertise, obviously. Why, how did you get there? I'm just so curious because that's
a great question.
Like, I'm at Netflix now, but I used to work for the NSA, and that's just such worlds apart in like the working of a person. I feel like
they both begin with N, which is the primary way that I pick companies. No, the way I ended up there is before I went to college, I was looking for scholarships because I knew that I wanted to go to a school that was probably going to be kind of expensive. And I was like on some scholarship searching website, and I came across one that the NSA had, And most of them, they say like, oh, this scholarship is for $5,000 or this scholarship is for $10,000, whatever the limit is. And this listing, for whatever reason, didn't have a limit specified. And so I clicked on it, read the fine print, and it's like, if you get accepted to this program, we'll pay full tuition for 4 years at whatever college of your choice, so long as you major in one of these fields. And I already knew I wanted to major in computer engineering. So I applied for the scholarship, had to go through a round of interviews, and I think that year there were like 600 applicants, and I was one of the 20 something that got chosen. And the one stipulation was you had to work full time after you graduated for the formula was kind of complicated, but the net was a minimum of like 4.5 years for your 4.5 years of school, or 4 years of school, which was, I thought, a great deal. If I didn't have to worry about any college debt, then yeah, I was willing to try my hand at that secret stuff.
That's secret stuff.
Especially Carnegie Mellon, from an out-of-state tuition, it had to be like literally like $500,000 or something by the time you were done. Something crazy. Like that sounds like not a bad deal, I guess. Yeah.
That's I mean, shoot, if I was like, I want to go here, and this place will pay my ride, sure.
And I did guarantee me a job.
Yeah, I did a similar thing.
Yep.
And like a like the poor man's not advanced version. I went to work. I was working as a meat cutter, and my friend was like, "Hey, our company." I was going to school for computer science. My friend was like, "Hey, like, come work at this company. They'll pay your tuition while you're working." And I was like, "Sick! I'll go do that." And then I realized I didn't want to do school and work 40 hours a week. But they did pay for my tuition, and so I took like one class. And just, I did like the opposite of that, where it did pay for some schooling. But I was not, I was still going to a community college, and I worked at like my job afterwards was not the NSA. Shout out Xerox. But I guess that's big
Xerox
tech.
Park?
No, I was, yeah, you think I'm that big time. No, we'll save this for my episode, but I worked for like a tiny sister, they called them sister companies, ironically, that like existed as a portion of Xerox. And I was the ugliest stepchild in this weird software division inside of Xerox, but we'll save that for another show.
Is that why your audio sucked when you were trying to get on?
No, I work at a much better company now.
Okay. That's good.
You might call us a startup. I don't know.
Unpaid and underrated?
Yeah, they're the reason my internet sucked. No, so what do you I don't know how deep these guys want me to go, but I want to know I'm just like so interested. I love talking to dudes that do this stuff. So what do you do? What do you enjoy? Like, why coding? Do you like for me, obviously Keith mocks me constantly, but like my brain thinks in like, how could I write something to do this? How could I I want to build that. Like, that was one of the things I fell in love with code, is like, I wanted what?
Well, nobody mocks you. We're just worried about you. Like, as your friends,
I appreciate
that. Once a week right now, I get an update on the Glaze Scale website. And it's just always one step ahead of like, dude, like, are your kids okay? Like,
They're great.
Are you taking your vitamins and eating properly right now? Because like you'll just come up and be like, oh, this update, and now you can like share the code, and we're like, why? We didn't need that. Nobody needed that. We did. Six people go to this website, and you are focusing so much time on this. So it's not that we mock you. We're just genuinely worried as your friends.
No, everything's fine. Everything is fine except for the audio today.
Don't hit me with everything is fine, because I know everything is fine.
Yeah. Joey wrote that phrase. But yeah, like, to me, like, I think about a lot of times, I'm sure you've experienced this, but sometimes you're like, I would literally rather do anything right now than coding. And then I think about like, well, I could go do this. And I'm like, I really love the problem solving. I love the creation aspect. Like I love all of that, and I don't actually know if I could give that up. And then you end up building like a website to search your friends' 4,000 movie rankings database just because you can. Like it's like, and you're like, this is amazing, and you're like, this is the easiest thing I've done this week. Like this is sure, yeah, I did that in like a lunch break. But I don't know, like what drew you to programming? Like what keeps you there? How do you feel about it? Tell us about your feelings. This is a feelings podcast now.
with druthers.
Yeah, druthers me.
I've got druthers on this one. That's good. Yeah, I mean, I became interested in computers the way that a lot of, I think, young people do, which is you start playing video games and then you start thinking about, oh, well, there are people that actually make these things. There's like you can write code and it becomes a video game. I want to learn more about that. And you know, the more I learned and the more I tinkered with computers, the more I just loved the problem solving aspect, the puzzle solving. You know, when I'm working on a problem at work, sometimes like I just if I haven't solved it, I want to just get back there and noodle on it some more, try to figure out what's going on. So yeah, that's what really attracted me to coding and software development and just being able to solve those puzzles.
Yeah. It's so funny because like I don't know about you, but one, I've like only tangentially or like kind of enjoy like I enjoy video games. I'm just terrible at them. And I really don't like the Zelda like puzzle games. Like I've never been good at them. And it's like feel like every developer's like and I love problem solving, but I suck at like puzzle based video games. And I don't understand it. And I want to know, are you a video game guy? Do you suck? Like, are you good at puzzles? Because I feel like maybe I'm just a bad developer. That's very possible. But like, I just want to have some sympathy here if I can get it. If I need another developer to be like, yeah, I love solving puzzles and algorithms and all this stuff, but like Zelda, that I can't figure out what's going on.
I like wax and wane as far as video games go. So every so often I'll just get really into a video game and it's like the only thing that I want to do when I'm not lifting or working or cooking. And there are other times when I just don't really want to touch a game. Zelda, like the newer Zeldas, I haven't actually played a Zelda game since A Link to the Past. So that was the last like full Zelda game that I actually played.
Joey just passed away.
My wife loves Zelda though, so they'll play Zelda for hours and let me watch and let me help them solve puzzles, and I love doing that. I love being like the sidekick that's helping the main character along.
What's the last video game that you got obsessed with, and give me why?
The last one I got obsessed with was probably Animal Crossing around 2020, the same time that everybody got obsessed
did.
with Animal Crossing.
I can see that.
And you know, that was kind of an escape at the time. It was fun. You got to design your island, you got to collect stuff, you got tricked into doing free labor for a raccoon. So, you know, if your boss is a cute raccoon, you'll just do almost anything.
It's just like working in big tech.
And I exactly. And I kept playing that for a while until I started to recognize that like I would wake up and I'd be like, oh, I got to boot up the game and do my morning chores.
Yeah.
And so I would do morning chores in Animal Crossing.
Animal Crossing was like that. Like you would wake up and be like, okay, I need to like have my coffee, go to the bathroom, and then I've got to like make sure I get to the fish that are out before noon because I don't have some of those yet. Yes, absolutely. Yeah, I'm with you on that one. No, I was in there too. I was in there too, man. And like my wife bought it because she was like, I'm gonna play this and it'll help me connect with my mom and my brother. And then I was like, no, this is my identity for a year. Like, like I am just going to play Animal Crossing for a year and be so crazy with it. So yeah, I did enjoy the last Legend of Zelda, which is why I was like, oh no, like yeah, they're really. But like they get so boring.
It is a great game.
It's so big. I don't like games that are so big, right? So actually, the last Legend of Zelda, I don't think I finished. I just kind of got to the point where it was almost done and went, "Hey, I'm done." Like I'm gonna put this away. And then I went back to playing the Arkham Knight again for the 5th time. Like I'm just gonna play this Batman game over and over again for the rest of my life. Sorry to hijack the video game talk.
No, you're good.
That's fine.
You're good. Like we had to get something for Joey to latch onto there. I have just a couple questions that I want to know, and then we can get out of nerd talk. But I'll try to keep bringing us back here as much as possible because that's my only purpose on this podcast. So I'm just curious. Favorite language, least favorite language. If you're a developer, what do you love? What do you hate? You server side, you front end. Where do you land?
Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely server side, because I've done a lot of stuff with like big data tech stacks, so Hadoop, Spark, all of that kind of stuff. Apache Flink, if you've heard of that one. So I honestly hate pretty much every programming language. I use Java and Kotlin the most currently. That's just because that's the tech stack that all the services I work with are written in. But I've bounced around. I've used Python before. I used Perl for a little bit. I guess if I had a favorite, it might be C, just because like it is so painful to use. There's like there's just something about writing something in C and making it actually work and not just immediately blow up that's very satisfying.
So what Joey's told me is he's a real developer. Joey's not messing around, is what they say. I thought Joey was big smart. Joey is big smart. Big smart Joey over here. Okay. Joey's favorite language is C. He is better than all of us. Okay. We'll just get that out.
When we're talking that, are we talking DOS? Like
we're talking real close to
/run? Or are we talking CSS?
not that C, not that C.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's
and not C++. We're not
C is like the granddaddy of all the programming languages.
Wow.
Pretty close to it.
We're even out of what like okay, cool. Yep.
Well, CSS isn't a code programming language, Joey. Come on.
Oh, jeez.
Come on, Joey.
It's just HTML on steroids. Yeah, I get it.
Nope. Also not necessary. Whatever. Web development. Yeah, I'm a lousy web developer who doesn't know anything and writes high level languages that just consume all memory. So, yeah, our C developer over here must hate me.
Yeah. I respect web developers because I hate the entire tech stack that like web apps are built on top of.
Same.
Like I recognize their value.
Yeah, I've just found myself here and I don't know how to get out. Yeah.
Guess I'm having another beer. Enjoy.
All right, Nate, your 4-minute clock is on, buddy.
All right, we got one more feelings question. This is always like something when I think about like development work and like people talk to me, like there's something that I've like worked on that I've been like, I loved doing this and it gave me so much joy. And like, I still think about it to this day. Like I'm still proud of it. So like favorite thing you've ever created, done, project you've worked on. And then also what is your like least favorite thing that you've ever worked on? Now, half of your work experience has been tied to the government. You can't talk about it. So we know all your favorite things were probably there. So just second favorite.
His favorite thing is the Mothman cover up.
Yeah.
It's hard to pick a favorite. But one that comes to mind is this is when I was at Rokana, and so to further bore all of the listeners, Rokana was a observability company, which basically meant that we wrote software to help other software developers see what their software was doing so they could software better. And one of the things that I wrote while I was there was an embedded library for just doing data transformations, and we used it like across the tech stack. It was simple. It did very little, but it did exactly what it needed to do. And so that was just kind of like a joy to work on.
I don't think there's anything better than like making something that works really well that then just gets used by everything. And it's like, oh, also there just hasn't been like it just works well. Like there's just like no greater feeling than being like, I did something good and everyone uses it and it is helpful to my organization. Like it is a very good feeling. I sympathize with that. My contribution was creating a IMDb search page. You know, that is my life-changing development work. Least favorite project, you got one? All of them? Anything that takes 6 weeks to fix?
Least favorite project is probably whichever project I was working on 6 months ago that now has bugs in it that I have to go and wade through and fix.
Yeah. Whatever that last idiot. Oh, that was me? Get blame? Wait, what?
Yep.
I've had that a lot
Get
recently.
blame is a great way to learn that you hate yourself.
Yeah. I took over a huge project when I came into this company that was more or less written by like one developer, and there's still a lot of just his stuff that's there. And I'll be like, yeah, that was, I think actually, no, was his name Joey? I don't remember. But
it was me.
Yeah.
I just occasionally come across people I hate and name them Joey. Clack, 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 clack. I'm a nerd.
That wasn't subliminal. But sometimes I'll be like, oh yeah, that was definitely like that was the last guy, like no chance. And I go and I'm like, yeah, so I did that. I'll be like, give me a week, I'll fix that. It's like shoot. We should blame that other guy. But all right, we can close my tech minute, tech hour, and we'll get back onto the the stuff that isn't tech related, but Nathan was curious about anyway. Keith, that's your cue.
Yeah,
put your glasses back on.
Actually, I'm in. I'm in.
Hands back on.
I want to. So, least favorite versus most favorite. Eating White Castle burgers.
Eating White Castle burgers, just the traditional slider is definitely the best. Don't need any cheese, don't need any toppings. Just go with meat, grilled onions, bread. That's all you need. Maybe a trash can to set it on top of.
And now, would you eat them like at a normal speed, or would you like try and speed eat some White Castle sliders? Or
I mean, it really just depends. Sometimes you're out with your buddies, and your buddy orders a crave case, which, if you're not familiar with White Castle, is 30 sliders, and commits to eating all 30 sliders in the restaurant. And then 10 sliders deep, he decides, no, I can't do it. I can't do it. There are people watching me. I just can't do this anymore. And so you do the next logical thing, which is you challenge them to an eating contest. And you yourself have already enjoyed 5 sliders, so you graciously eat 5 more to catch up, as you do.
As one does.
And then you decide well, we can't do this in the restaurant because, there are people here. So let's go outside and let people eat in peace. And then, of course, you need a place to stage this contest. So you grab the nearest trash can, and that's the perfect place to stage your burgers. But of course, you're worried if you're going to be eating them very fast that you're going to be messy. You're going to get your shirt all dirty. So you do the next logical thing, and you take your shirt off.
So
that you can... Exactly. Perfectly logical.
Of course. Napkins? I don't need no napkins. I'll just take off the shirt. Yep.
Yeah, exactly.
Why am I with you on this
ride? And then here and then here's the thing that you learn about yourself during this competition. You learn that you're not a speed eater. You're not built for max velocity, just eat as fast as possible. You're a capacity eater. So you get your ass handed to you by your buddy who eats his 10 burgers fast enough that he's able to steal one of your 10 burgers and just embarrass you and rub it in. But that's fine because there are other eating challenges, and there are other opportunities to just prove that you can eat way more food than any human should, and speed doesn't matter as much.
I've never been to White Castle, so hopefully that's a thing I get to experience on one of my many trips to the US.
You don't see them in like the grocery store ever. Like I see them. Like I think I've never actually been to a White Castle. I don't believe, but I see the frozen ones that you just microwave for like 90 seconds or
yeah,
something.
the frozen ones are not nearly as good. You
Okay.
gotta go there. You gotta have them fresh.
Yeah, we definitely don't have them up here, right? We don't get the frozen stuff or the regular stuff. So
While we're on food, I had a little comment that you love peanut butter, so the whole episode rides on what you say next, creamy or crunchy.
Creamy. That's my preferred peanut butter. I will do crunchy in the right circumstances, but if I can only pick one, it's going to be creamy. One of my favorite things to do is to just get uh like a bowl of vanilla ice cream and then just load it up with twice as much peanut butter as ice cream, and it's just the best thing.
Are you my spirit animal? Because that's what I do. Like with a little Hershey syrup sometime, but it's not necessary. No, that's awesome. And then I'll like mix it up and almost make like a frosty out of it, if you will, or like a milkshake kind of thing. So
what are the circumstances for crunchy? Because for me, so toast, crunchy peanut butter, and a bit of a honey. Those are like prime circumstance for me. Like, what are the circumstance for you where crunchy would outweigh whipped?
if you're fucking whipped.
Yeah, I would say for me, if I'm eating an open-faced peanut butter sandwich, then I'll go crunchy, because that just gives you a little bit of like texture variety, so that way it's not all just smooth and soft.
I also just like peanuts. Like, do you guys just like chew? Do you guys just eat roasted peanuts?
Yeah, I have like 100-calorie packs that I'll get every now and then, just because like if I have a jar of peanuts, I'll eat the whole fucking thing, and
same.
I'll have 1,000 calories of peanuts. So
okay, so
I have to do the 100-calorie packs and like restrict myself to like one a day if I do them.
But that's why I like crunchy peanut butter over whipped peanut butter, is because I will fully buy like the Planters dry roasted. I use the cap as a plate, and I'll just pour them out and eat them by the handful until somebody takes them away.
Yeah,
I will get sick on those. So crunchy peanut butter is just another conduit for making myself sick with peanuts.
I do like peanuts. I like peanut butter more than I like peanuts, though, which I've always found interesting. But I'm definitely with you on using the cap as a plate. It's
my
like
grandma taught
perfect
me.
size.
Yeah, that was the thing my grandma taught me. Except, fun instance, if you cook with peanut butter, I will vomit. So my wife has tried to make like ramen or pad thai in the house, and I was like, I'm down. Like, whatever my wife wants to cook, I'm gonna try at least once. But there was a time she tried to make pad thai, and she threw peanut butter in and she whipped it up in the wok, and I was like, okay, honey, I'm here, and I put those noodles in my mouth and I gagged everywhere. So yeah, apparently cooking with peanut butter is my limit. Cooking with peanuts is not, and peanut butter is not. But cooking with whipped peanut butter in noodles or something just murders me every time.
I eat Thai peanut chicken like once a week. It's incredible. You're wrong.
I love Thai peanut chicken.
I can't. I just can't.
A staple for my family. Real quick, I just want to pop the stack. I was reading through these notes because I had like not a huge notice to read this huge book of notes. White Castle thing. Everyone just slid over this. I noticed in the story about this White Castle thing, at the bottom of the story from whoever sent this, there's a link to a YouTube video.
Oh yeah.
I don't know anything about that.
I'll put that in the show notes. Oh yeah, for sure.
It says, but what makes this an amazing story is that a random person they never interacted with that day filmed it from the inside of the restaurant with commentary and uploaded it to YouTube. I appreciate whatever the channel name is for his amazing contribution, and then provided the YouTube link. And Joey and Keith were just gonna glaze over the fact that there's a whole freaking YouTube video of the story that we're telling.
All right,
guys.
The commentary version is better. Like I think it's good to watch the original, but then watch the commentary immediately afterwards, because that guy eviscerates us.
Yeah, we'll put that I'll make a reminder that I won't remember to put that in the show notes.
Did you ever go in and comment on the actual YouTube?
There are
We
zero
did.
comments.
So we actually I don't think we commented on the YouTube, but we like sent him an email or a DM,
Gotcha.
and we asked him if we filmed other eating competitions and like sent you the footage, would you do commentary for them? And he was game, but it never materialized.
Mystery
That's
theater.
funny.
Yeah.
That's good
Okay.
stuff. So we'll see
There's
if we
Nathan
can get,
hijacking the podcast again. Okay, I'll go away again.
we'll see if we can get some comments on that YouTube video by next week, hopefully.
Okay.
Hope
So I think
First comment.
I have my last food question.
Okay.
How is one an udon connoisseur? And what is it about the big noodles that you think are better than the little noodles? Because I'm a big noodle guy myself when it comes up. I do prefer the big noodles. But what makes one an udon connoisseur?
That's a great question.
First, explain what they are, please, for people like me.
Yeah, so if you've ever had ramen, that's probably like the more popular noodles-based soup is going to be ramen. Ramen is great. It's tasty. Stay away from the instant stuff. Like it'll do in a pinch, but like real ramen is much better.
I disagree. Eat as much instant ramen as your sodium laced kidneys can handle, because you can fuck with that stuff so much. But again, those are all skinny noodles. So I just want to hear more about.
Yeah. So udon is it's a thicker wheat noodle that's often cooked into a soup. And the thing that I like about udon is you get like bite and chew to it. So you're not just like slurping the noodles, but the noodles you actually get to kind of like enjoy along with the rest of the soup ingredients. So we've made udon, me and my wife, probably like 4 or 5 times. My wife, we've made udon like 4 or 5 times. They always make the broth. So they'll make a kombu dashi, and I'm forgetting the name of the other one, but one is made with seaweed, and I don't actually like seaweed or a ton of seafood, but I like it when it's used to make the broth. And then they'll also make a mushroom-based broth. Combine those together. We'll put the noodles in it. We'll usually put some steak or other protein and a bunch of different veggies, and it's just delightful.
Sounds good.
Have you ever met a noodle master?
I have never met a noodle master. That would be a fun experience.
I actually did once here in my city. They actually opened a ramen place that had a noodle master. And he was there for like a certain time of the day where you would go and you would watch this dude like kung fu dough into noodles. It was insane. And the place didn't do well, which is crazy. It's crazy to me that you had a noodle master in your North American city and you didn't go. But again, that place was not like that place was a genuine ramen restaurant, right? Like that place was when you ordered, she didn't speak much English. You had to write your order down based on numbers, and then the noodle master, you'd hear him in the back, wah, wah. He's slapping noodles in the back, like making them fresh for you. That was insane. So I just when I saw that on here, I was like, okay, I want to hear about that a little bit. That's my final food question. I have no wrestling questions.
That does seem to be a running theme with you with ordering food with numbers, either number 1 or number 2, right?
Yep. Yeah. Breakfast with 1, breakfast 2.
With that brown water. All right. So Big Joey, why should Tommy and Tanner make it out to Home Gym Con?
Oh, they definitely need to make it out to Home Gym Con. I knew that I would like seeing all of the equipment when I went to Home Gym Con. That was like there were 2 reasons why I went the first year. One was I wanted to see the different equipment that was going to be there, and then 2 was it was only an hour and a half for me. And so this year it's still only an hour and a half for me, so I've got that going for me. But what I underestimated was just how cool it would be to meet all of the other home gym owners and all of the other people there that just like to kind of nerd out on gym equipment. So I highly recommend that they make it out to Home Gym Con. They're going to have a great time. They're going to meet a lot of great people. Um, they're going to get to try out a bunch of stuff. I don't know. I don't remember how they're doing on the like 2024 barbell purchase meter, but
I
if
think
they
he's
go
got a
to Home
couple.
Gym Con, they're probably gonna like put down payments on like four or five more.
Yeah, you'd think.
But they're flying though, so I feel like that might put a damper on the barbell
Well,
purchasing.
you can order them.
They'll ship them to you. Yeah.
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 I think about like guitar players who are like, there's a lot of really good stories about dudes like flying out to somewhere and finding the guitar they had to have and like didn't want to pay for shipping and are just like breaking it down into the smallest pieces so that they can fit it in their bag and get it in their carry-on because they don't trust put it under the plane. I imagine, Tanner gets out there, finds like an original Buddy Caps barbell and is like doing everything he can, buying a ticket for it on the plane, the whole 9 yards. It's just Tanner, barbell, Tommy on the plane.
Good stuff.
Well, the best part is if they find stuff that they do wanna keep, we can just have crew take it safely. We can transfer it up the country, little bit by little bit, going
Pass it
from
house by
one crew
house.
member to the next. Yeah,
Absolutely.
exactly.
It's so funny.
Speaking of crew, have you met many crew in person?
I met a few crew in person at Home Gym Con. So I met the big Kurt Locker while I was there. Um, I met Big Rob. I think he's crew. I know he's been on the
I
Massonomics
don't think he is
podcast. I don't
actually.
actually know if he's crew.
Hogan's crew.
I met Hogan while I was there because he was taking the
him and
lizard around, which was awesome.
Yep. Big
But yeah, I
Chris,
haven't met
big Chris at Belfad just
oh,
recently joined. He wasn't crew last year, but he is currently. So
yep. Met Big Chris and Randy.
So any plans to maybe make it out to a Lift Hard, Live Easy in the future, or a Crew Falls meetup?
I don't know if Lift Hard Live Easy will work out for me this year. I'm definitely not signed up to lift in it, but I would love to go and just cheer everybody on. And
I didn't lift last year, so everybody else lifted, and I just went and was a menace. And I assure you, we need some menaces. We need some crew that aren't lifting, that are just there to like have fun, scream, video. And like I was walking around, I was helping Tanner and Tommy, I helped the barefoot. Like I was just there as a loose, unpaid and underrated. I think we weren't even a month in at that point, right?
May to July.
About 2 months, I think.
Yeah.
You started in
middle of
May.
May to middle of July.
And that led me some credibility where people were like,
2 months.
We know who you are, kinda. So like, yeah, even if you're not lifting and can make it in a way that isn't going to like break your bank or anything, yeah, show up, man. Like, even if you're not lifting, come and be, I assure you, you will not regret any second of being there. Unless you hate alcohol, overconsumption of high fatty foods, and people laughing at each other. If you hate those three things, you might not have fun here. But if you like any of those three things, like you're gonna have a great time.
I am a teetotaler, so I don't actually like alcohol. But I do like those other things.
Yeah, having fun and just like being ridiculous are two of the other great things, right? Alcohol is gonna flow like wine. Yep. Like we know that, but that's out of our hands, right?
Yep.
So we'll hit you we'll hit you with one we always try to hit everyone with. I think we might have actually forgot it a couple of episodes ago, so sorry about that if we ever didn't get to answer it. But one piece of Massonomics merch that you missed out on that you wish you had gotten.
I have an answer prepared for this one.
Nice.
It's got to be the Strongman 8-bit shirt.
Yep.
When I did my first Massonomics order, I ordered the powerlifting 8-bit shirt, and I was like, oh, I should probably get the Strongman 8-bit too. Like, I know I don't do Strongman, but I love that style. It's just really cool, and would love to do a Strongman show one day. One of my lifting dreams is to lift the Denny Stones. I would love to do that.
Cool.
But yeah, I missed out on it, and so I just keep hoping that they'll bring it back with some sizes that aren't extra small.
How far from Keith are you?
Like 10 hours probably.
Oh, fuck, yeah, you're pretty far.
Yeah.
All right, yeah.
It would take me 10 hours to get to home Gym Con. So depending on which side of Indiana you're on, yeah.
I'm closer to Joey than Keith is.
All right. At some point, I'm going to Keith's with my Denny Stone replicas, and we're gonna all have too much fun doing
Well,
it.
he didn't say he wanted to lift replicas, Joey. He said he wanted to lift the Denny Stones.
Yeah, well, you know what? You know how you practice
You gotta
things?
start. Yeah.
I've got replica rings that have a moderate rating.
So one of the things I want to do in my life is meet Arnold Schwarzenegger. So I went to this wax museum and I met Arnold Schwarzenegger. No, Joey, doesn't count.
That's fair. Fine. I feel like the wax museum is cheaper. Just saying.
Probably not. You go to the Arnold and just happen to meet him.
I do agree that's a good shirt, though. I think I've had it in my email reminder, like for when it comes back in stock for like a year, waiting for it to come back, or maybe not a year, but at least several months. So hopefully we see that in some right size blanks in the future.
I feel like that's one that could definitely come back, though. Like,
oh yeah.
Oh, for sure. I would think so.
Are all the 8-bits sold out now?
Powerlifting, I think, is still available, and I don't know if there's any Highland game ones, though. Probably not, but I know the Powerlifter.
They had a couple of smaller sizes the last time I checked. Like
until
extra smalls and
until Big 8-bit sends their cease and desist.
Yes. Nintendo is coming for them.
So you had mentioned powerlifting and strongman. What have you actually competed in? What's your what's sanctioned or non-sanctioned? What have you done?
Yeah, I've done 3 powerlifting meets that were sanctioned.
Nice.
So those were all USAPL.
Yep.
Yeah, USA Powerlifting.
Yep.
No, USPA.
There's USPA and then
whichever one's non-tested.
USPA is non-tested, and you can wear
USPA is what I did, just because they were more convenient. So I did that in 2018 and 2019. I haven't done a sanctioned comp since then. All my comps have been the garage gym competition. So I've been doing those at home, which those are a lot of fun, but I definitely miss like the platform and the energy and excitement that you get at an in-person competition.
It feels like you should really sign up to be on the Live Tired, Live Easy. If you want excitement, you try getting yelled at a random dude who's mad that you're cheering for your friends.
No, that's I definitely implore you find a meet. You know, it's. I mean, you're gonna have are you gonna try to do the garage gym competition at home Gym Con as the replacement for the Bales of Steel canceled meet?
Right. I'm undecided on if I want to try to do it at home Gym Con or just wait a couple extra weeks and do it at home. Because I may want to see just like how they end up setting it up, because they did say that they were going to maybe do something unique with it where you kind of have like a round robin stations. Like maybe you do the squats at one company's booth and then you do like the bench press at another, and then like the deadlift on some platform and stuff like that.
Yeah, I just feel that'd be like awkward, like for me to like, if I'm actually going to take it serious and like I can put my knee sleeves and my belt on and everything. It's like I'm not going to try to do that at like fucking 2:00 in the middle of an expo with like 200 people around, not giving a shit about your lifting, trying to like talk to the vendors and like buy equipment and shit. So like I don't know, it doesn't really. I'm already spending a lot of money to travel to go to a lifting meet. I don't think I want to do it twice. You know what I mean? Like home gym con to me is a vacation to like hang out with the boys, not necessarily blow my wad like trying to lift heavy. I'll save that for July. And then
I have considered doing like the deadlift party if that comes back. So just throwing on some straps, seeing how much I can pull.
Yeah, that could be fun. Just don't rip your shins up like that asshole did last year. That was disgusting. I was like, dude, like I've never like been like, oh my God, you should wear deadlift socks. That kid should have wore deadlift socks. That was horrendous.
Yep.
Oh, all right. I want to hear about burning refrigerators and why they're in here. Is there a story there? There's got to be something. Yeah, I love that reaction.
So I've never set a refrigerator on fire, but I can tell you why that made it in the show notes.
I had a couple people mention it.
I've never set a refrigerator on fire, but boy, do I love watching them burn. Is I kind of feel how this is gonna go.
But I know someone who's really good at it, and they're my best bud. Also, just note, burning a refrigerator would make a great like Midwest emo EP title. Just putting that out there if anyone wants to take that.
Or podcast title.
So what of like it's not like a official social network, but I belong to like a Slack group that we call the Parlor. So it's just like a bunch of friends from all over the country. And early on when I joined, I said, "Oh, remind me to tell you the fridge fire story." And then every couple of months, someone would say, "Hey, Joey, you haven't told us the fridge fire story yet." It's like, "Oh yeah, I'll get to it. I'll get to it." It's been 8 years, I think, in that Slack, and I've never told the fridge fire story. I think I told it once in person because we did a couple of meetups like in 2018 and 2019. So I think I did tell it to a few folks in person. But yeah, I've never told them the fridge fire story. And just looking at the time, I think we should save that for the next time I'm on the podcast, and then I'll be sure to tell the fridge fire story for everybody.
We can do that, and you kind of play your cards close to your chest like Big Tanner does with the member that got kicked out of the gym story that only a select few of us have actually heard. So I keep your secrets.
I have Joey questions. I have so many Joey questions. There's a couple things in here that I wanted to ask about. Being a Joey is so fucking hard sometimes. So we people want us when we look like we do, beard. I am going to eventually ask about your hair. Can I get that out of the way first? So I went back and January 19th, you did not. And now you do. Tell us about the purple hair because I love it. I absolutely love it. It reminds me of Blanche Devereaux. Tell me why you have Blanche Devereaux hair.
Well, because Golden Girls is amazing.
The best show ever made. Correct.
The purple hair it's just something I do every few months. It's fun. I like it. My wife has gotten really good at bleaching and dyeing my hair. So when I lived in San Francisco, I got it done professionally a couple times. But now we just do it at home. And yeah, it's fun. It's kind of tying it back to Home Gym Con. When I went to Home Gym Con last year, I had dyed my hair purple like maybe a few weeks beforehand. And so as soon as people saw me in the convention center, they were like, "Hey, I know who you are. I recognize you from the hair." So yeah, I think it's just a fun thing to do. I think if you have the opportunity to try a different color, people should go for it.
Yeah, I did my nails black for the last meet. I just do my nails black every once in a while when I'm feeling particularly like it's time to get goth. And then the company that does the photos, like the professional photos, they shared a picture of me slapping chalk at some point, and it was so gorgeous. Cause I remember seeing it and it's like I'm scrolling because they didn't tag me because I don't think they knew it was me, but like big hairy arms. There's all the tattoos and the black nails. I was like, the fuck is this? And I was like, oh wait, those are my tattoos and black nails. And like just sometimes you just you gotta just like go to that next level. Okay, I have an FMK. This is a Joey FMK. Okay. And then I think there's another one in here that's about us having the name Joey. Okay. So FMK, which we know the rules, right?
Yep.
Okay. Joey from Friends. Obviously, I was going to bring that one up. That fucking Joey Baby song. Yeah. Uh-huh.
I don't think I know that.
I don't either.
Oh, I'll find out the artist in just a second. And being called a baby kangaroo for your entire life, despite the fact that Tasmanian devils are also Joeys. They're also Joeys.
I would never make that joke.
Uh-huh. Hold on. Let me get this Joey Baby song. I can't believe you guys don't know this.
I saw that in the show notes and I was like, Do I? Maybe it's because I don't have kids.
It's by Concrete Blonde.
Isn't that Blondie?
All right, so that one might flop a bit, but I can assure you, Joey, when you hear it, you have heard it 1,000 times, and it's the worst song, and people just sing it to me all the time. As soon as I'm like, my name's Joey, and they're over the age of 50, they're like, Joey, baby. I'm like, no, that song sucks. It's a terrible song. Concrete Blonde sucks, and you suck.
If I remember, I'll put that in post. Y'all can hear
No,
it.
you'll get us blocked on the YouTubes. So
we'll never get around to getting that over there.
Yeah, I don't think we're ever going to get on the YouTube. Everyone keeps asking about the YouTubes. But
it'll get there. It's automatic.
The same person.
Yeah, but if that's the case, I can just give you a hint of the song right now, because this song has haunted me my entire life, and I want another, Joey.
That's mean. It's blocking it out. It's not picking up anything. Kind of.
No, it's not coming through.
That's not coming through? Good.
It literally right at the end.
Oh, okay.
Away, it was.
Well, fuck
Zoom's
that song.
like compression algorithm and
good. Fuck that song forever and ever. It's just Joey, baby.
I'll just preemptively kill the song,
please,
just based on your reaction alone.
Please. So now you're stuck with Joey from Friends, or being called a baby kangaroo for the rest of your life.
Between those two, I'm gonna marry being called a baby kangaroo for the rest of my life, and fuck Joey Tribbiani, because
how you doing?
I was never a friend of Friends.
Not me either. Yeah, that show sucks.
Yeah, but I mean, at least it's not ugly. Wait, what?
Are we ugly? Like, what? What does that mean?
No, because if that's
no, I mean, if you have to fuck a Joey,
yeah, I mean,
if you're gonna fuck a Joey, it's got to be one of the attractive ones on your podcast.
Oh well, that wasn't on the list. It wasn't on the list, Joey. Relax. This isn't about you. This is about other Joey.
It was one of those things that as soon as I learned that all marsupial babies are called Joeys, that includes Tasmanian devils, that includes koala bears, that includes possums, I was just like, can you stop calling me a kangaroo and choose one of like the cooler ones? And then realizing kangaroos are the cooler ones eventually, but yeah.
You guys seen the videos? They're scary.
Yeah, they will fuck you up.
It's still not as scary as Tasmanian devils. Those fuckers.
That's true.
Those guys are wild. Like there's literally a cancer named after Tasmanian devils because they chew on each other's face so much that it just develops giant pox and a cancer because they're just so mean and vicious that they have their own form of inbred cancer. So, yeah, Tasmanian devils are the cooler versions of marsupials. Who are you blowing kisses at?
My wife came to say goodnight.
Oh.
Just going to bed.
Okay, and then there's one more Joey question I have. When we ask people sometimes for nicknames that might make people kind of like laugh or catch them on guard, I have here, and I'm going to just say this exactly how it's written. Joey, a real gleeful E at the end. And then I wrote in brackets, no, every Joey has this. So, how much do you love being called Joey?
So I'm pretty sure I know who sent you that note, because I've only got a couple of friends that do that. And the nice thing is they don't do it all the time. But I used to work with them, and so when it was fun when you would like walk into a room and you just get this exaggerated announcement. So I will say it is fun in small doses.
Yeah, correct. Yeah, absolutely. And then one day I was like, I think my brother was typing really fast, and they autocorrected Joey to JPEG. And they have never let that go. I think that's the most original and funny name I've ever been given. is JPEG because
That's really
it's just
good.
like if you're going, yeah, the letters make sense. Like you miss them and then it just auto corrects that. So every once in a while I get called JPEG and I just got to go, you know what, guys? That's the most original one. I appreciate that one.
Something I think about sometimes is if I ever get sick of going by Joey, I can instead go by Joe and then my last initial, and it'll be perfect.
I was going to mention that earlier because I was like, I was
Gotcha,
going to
Joe
say,
E. Yeah, that makes
I was
perfect
going to
sense.
call you, I was going to call Joey E, Joe E, but it's the same fucking name. It's like, Joe E is so hard to say. It's literally like a tongue twister.
Yeah, no, it's Joe. Joe E.
Yep.
Yeah, no, that's good stuff.
Sure
All right, I'm done with the Joey stuff. I don't get a lot of other Joeys that I get to like fucking rant about with this kind of stuff. So
We should just get Joe on next week.
who?
Get the other Joe on.
Perfect.
I'll go with two things probably, and we could probably move into unpaid. Do you want to talk about cruises at all and how you're a big fan and you met your partner and your wife on the cruises and what the hell is is Joko something we're supposed to be familiar with, or is that just something you specific? Someone like had mentioned Joko cruises like 3 different times, so I've never heard of it, but I'm not a big cruise guy, so.
So I became a cruise guy for a while, starting with the Joko cruise. So Joko is short for Jonathan Colton. So he's an internet musician that I think maybe Joey's heard of based on his reaction. I'm not sure.
No, I just really
but
love that. I just really love the way you described it. I became a big Joko guy for a bit. I was like, I fucking love that sentence.
Joko.
Yeah, so he just put out like I would say nerdy music is the best way to describe it. The first time he kind of blew up, he did this challenge called Thing a Week where he was trying to put out a new song every week, and he did that successfully for 52 weeks in a row. So a lot of those songs were terrible. A lot of them were really good. And in 2011, he and some of his other musician buddies thought it would be funny if they started a fan cruise for himself, and they did. And it just kind of like turned into this giant nerd summer camp. So they host it every year, and the cool thing is it brings out all kinds of different nerds. There's like music nerds, there's computer nerds, there's video game nerds, there's board game nerds. There's even some lifting nerds that go on it. And it's just a fun experience. It does take place on a cruise ship, so you have to be comfortable with like the potential of motion sickness and making sure that you're washing your hands regularly so you don't get sick and stuff like that. But it's surprisingly a lot of fun. The one thing I like about a cruise is you get to visit different places without ever having to pack up your bag and like change hotels. Because that's the worst part about like a multi-city vacation.
That sounds like your adult life has been a multi-city vacation, right? Just moving one place to the next.
Sometimes I just want to make it
Pretty
easier
much.
and go on the cruise.
Sometimes life is a cruise, baby.
Well, we got a ton more stuff, but I think we might do an extended unpaid or underrated, just depending on what we. But I think I'm just
There's a lot here.
Hold
Like,
on,
we don't
hold on,
know.
hold on.
Whoa.
Is Jonathan Colton the dude that did the? I assume you probably know what this is. Accidental Tech Podcast, ATP, like Marco Arment, John Siracusa, Casey List, their podcast. Do you know what that is?
I don't, but he might have.
There's a
'cause he
guy.
also. Yeah, go ahead.
There's a dude that was doing a song a day, song a week challenge, and part of it
That was probably him.
And at one point, he just wrote a theme song for this incredibly popular podcast, and they use it every week. I could Google this. I'll Google this. And okay,
Is this the guy, or
this
can I
sounds
just
very
pull out my
likely.
phone and Google?
oh, I just wanted to ask because then we could have a moment. But
Great.
His most famous song is probably he did the theme song for Portal. So if you've ever played Portal or know that song, he did Still Alive. That was the name of the theme song for Portal. Yeah,
that's huge.
But he didn't write the Baby Joey song, right?
No,
the Joey Baby song. He did not
it's
write
unconfirmed.
That? Okay.
Unconfirmed.
I'm going to tell you right now. When we're done this, Joey's going to go and you're going to listen to this song,
I will
And you're
never
gonna
listen
go-
to it.
You're gonna go, oh no, I hate that fucking song. Oh, I know it's coming.
It was
All right.
Jonathan. It was Jonathan Mann, not Jonathan Colton. Different Jonathan.
Jonathan Mann. Oh,
Too many
different
Jonathans writing nerdy
Too many
songs.
Jonathans. There you have it.
All right.
All right.
You want to play a little Mount Rushmore game, Joe E. Okay, so this one might fall flat if you're not, if you don't take your work home with you, this might fall flat. So, the Mount Rushmore, Netflix original material. So movies, shows, whatever, top
Mhm.
4 Netflix shows or movies you've consumed.
I'm gonna say Stranger Things. I think that's still my favorite show that
one.
Netflix has put out.
I'm in.
Um,
I'm in.
this is probably recency bias, but Fall of the House of Usher I thought was amazing.
Hell yes. It absolutely was. Yep. Are we horror fan friends? Are we horror fan friends? Like, is that something we should have been
think we
talking about
are.
more?
I think we
Damn it.
are.
It wasn't in the show notes. God, I could have went on more about that.
I didn't get it.
Adding to the same theme, Midnight Mass. A lot of people complain about the pacing on that one, but it's still one of my favorites.
That's
I didn't
a
watch it.
miniseries, right? They came out maybe like
That was a
2 years ago.
miniseries, yeah.
It's on my watch list. I haven't seen it yet.
I don't think I watched it.
So
I can't
it's
finger up that
it's
one.
a good one.
All
Yeah,
right.
I would
I'll
go
put it
back
on the
and
list.
watch that one.
And for all the
my
marbles, what's the fourth one?
What do I want to go with? I think for the fourth one, and I'll be curious if anyone on the podcast has seen this. I'm blanking the name of it. Centaur World.
Mm-mm.
It was an animated series that they did 2 seasons of, but it's amazing.
Nice. Well,
And for the listeners at home, real-time follow-up, Keith has only rated one of those movies on glazesearch.com. That would be Stranger Things, and he rated it a 9.
there we go.
All right. So I did watch Midnight Mass. I loved Midnight Mass.
What is that?
So it's
I haven't heard of it.
It's a weirdly horror adjacent thing. It takes place on an island.
Yeah.
And the guy from iZombie, that's why I watched it. The British Indian dude from iZombie was in that as the sergeant. Yeah, not in this. He's amazing in this.
Mm-hmm.
So I distinctly remember that's why it got shown to me, because I watched iZombie religiously.
Good show.
Yes, it was.
Also a good show.
Yeah, and that's why I watched Midnight Mass, but I did not watch the last one, Centaur. I did not watch that one. So yeah, we're definitely. God, I wish I had more info on that one before it started. I did think we are definitely horror friends. Damn it! There could have been so much more content.
Yeah, you can always manipulate your unpaid or underrated to dictate that if you want. But I think it's time we move into a little unpaid or underrated. You are familiar, Joey. It's just, do you want to explain to any new listeners? We might have a new listener. Do you want to give them the rundown of unpaid or underrated for us?
Yeah, so pretty much I'm going to be given some hand-picked topics for me. I have to decide if they're unpaid or underrated.
What's
you
unpaid
may have
mean?
seen on some bootleg shows that unpaid is the same as overrated, but unpaid is the original. Unpaid and underrated is definitely the original.
Love it.
I have my druthers, so I can add druthers as needed. But the one rule is I'm not allowed to, I believe the way Keith says it is ride 2 asses with 1 horse.
That's the correct ruling. You got that correct.
Okay.
I fucked that analogy up a time or two for sure. All right, so
you did what with the horse?
Yeah, there's 3 hosts, so I say we at least get 2 each, and then maybe some bonus ones at the end. So I'll kick off. I'm gonna go unpaid or underrated for Big Joey E. Marriage proposals via PowerPoint.
I'm gonna say that they're underrated. Even though the one time I was proposed marriage via PowerPoint, I said no. Uh, this proposal came about because my friend Aaron was basically saying like, "Hey, if we're really good friends, we get along really well. What if we just got married, kind of combined our assets and just had a great time like hanging out and having fun." Um, it was a very well done PowerPoint presentation. I'll also say that it was very convincing, but in the end, I wanted to hold out for love, so I was too sappy to accept that marriage proposal.
Well, that's fair. Okay, so we're gonna give you that one underrated. So my second one, ooh, so many good ones. Being a landlord, unpaid or underrated.
Being a landlord is definitely unpaid. It's there are circumstances where it can make a lot of sense, and one of those was when I lived in San Francisco. So in San Francisco, I was able to buy a duplex and live in one of the units and rent out the other unit. And that's basically what made it possible for me to afford the house. So it was a good thing as far as that goes. But you're always dealing with things breaking. You're always doing maintenance. I never had any problems with tenants or anything like that. It was, always had good luck there, but yeah, I would say being a landlord is unpaid. There's a lot of better things that you can do with your time.
What are California's property taxes like? I live in New York and it's outrageous. So I'm curious.
The they
I'm
actually
very
weren't
curious.
that bad. So it's interesting. In my experience,
It's a valid question. My
'cause
two
I have
co-hosts are giving me shit for this. It's an extremely valid question.
Keith's like,
It could be
So-
answered in
so-
30 seconds. It's not like it's got
The look on
not
my
much
face
long.
of just like, oh, we don't do
I
that
know,
on here.
fuck you.
it's just
I don't
so
do
funny.
it's actually not bad. The property
Okay.
taxes in California are fairly reasonable. You
Okay.
pay a pretty high income tax.
Okay.
I think the top bracket there is like 10 or 11% income tax, but the property taxes aren't bad.
All right. Um, I figure each host will do two, and then if we have a couple extra, we can do some bonus rounds if Nate or Joey want to hop in.
I have three. I don't know.
That's
Oh
that's
my
fine.
gosh.
I mean, dudes, I don't care.
All
No,
right.
we're gonna take unpaid underrated a little far because I think we're all just very interested in Joey, and it's been kind of funny that like I was going through the show notes and I was like, I don't know how much of this, but as I'm talking, I was like, no, I have 1,000 more questions. I have so much I want to talk about. So yeah, Nate, go ahead, man, do your three.
So the first one came to me upon a story that you told us. So unpaid or underrated, the song "I've Been Everywhere" by Johnny Cash.
Um, this is definitely one of those ones where the answer has to go based on the popular opinion. And I
Mhm.
think the popular opinion is that that song is really, really good. So I think based on that, it's just a little bit unpaid. Like it's a great song, but it's just a little bit loved better than it is.
It's tough. Johnny Cash. I think I asked a Johnny
I
Cash
know.
question to Keith and Joey. I guess that's my bit now.
I think for sure we both got
So I
unpaid.
actually looked up that song, and that song is 161 different variations, based on every country.
wow.
Yeah, it was actually originally written by an Australian person.
Yeah, I didn't think it was originally Johnny Cash. I was thinking
Yeah.
about that.
Okay.
Well, that's what I said. I was like, no, let's pull it back and see if we can pull who originally did it. And then I think the most recent one was during COVID, which was "I Ain't Been Anywhere, Man." And it's just about like them like watching movies, dipping back and forth between their bedrooms.
funny.
And I was like, like, no, I'm gonna look up that. So yeah, it's not a JK original. They're a J Cash original.
JC.
JC.
J Cash,
Cash.
as you Americans would say it, a JK.
All right. Next question. This is a huge one. O'Reilly Publishing. O'Reilly Books.
Uh, Yeah, so they are underrated. And I'm pretty sure this got added to the list because I am a published author. I wrote a book called Hadoop Security that nobody listening to this podcast has ever read. And if you have read it, I apologize. Um, I would recommend if you have the opportunity and your employer will pay you to write a book, do it. But if you're just writing a book on your own, don't do it.
Makes
But
sense.
O'Reilly Media, they treated me really well and they were very supportive. So I would say that they're underrated.
And you're saying that as someone who wrote nonfiction. That's a whole nother level of like you wrote a book. And all that stuff has that's legit.
There
No,
was no vampire sex at all, and you still got published. Like that's a thing to be.
Joey, did you read it? Do you know there's no vampire sex?
I do read. I actually, if you pay attention to, I think last week or the week before, I only read nonfiction. But no, I did not read that. Cybersecurity is not my.
Well, feel free to pick up like 1 or 50 copies, whatever floats your boat.
You still get residuals on that, baby?
I think if everyone in crew buys a copy of my book, I'll have enough money to buy a round of beers for the hosts of this podcast.
If we bring it to
but if I buy one copy, will you show up to the Lift Hard Live Easy? Because I can make that happen and I can prove that.
Can we get physical copies? Like, can we get it signed? What are we talking here?
You can still buy physical copies, I'm pretty sure. I will see if I can swing it, but if you get a physical copy and I do make it out to the Lift Hard Live Easy, I will sign it for you.
Now, will you, I'm
gonna make that happen. I'm buying a physical copy of that book. I'm not gonna read it, probably, but I want it and I want it signed.
I'll read it. Probably not. Every O'Reilly book that's ever been given to me, I'm like, woof, this looks so useful, and then I don't read it. I'm really, again, Joey, real developer, writes O'Reilly books. That's how good he is. Nathan, bad developer, gets O'Reilly books, doesn't
read them.
Look, I will tell you the secret though. I get paid the same commission if you read the book or don't read the book.
Yeah, exactly. That's the point.
That's done.
When I started my most recent job, I wasn't a .NET developer to start with. I started in like PHP and stuff, and so we started doing a bunch of .NET. And the owner, my employer, was like, here's a bunch of like O'Reilly books. You can read these. And I was just like, great, I'll get right on that. And I was like, will he know if I don't read these? Because there's zero chance. There's so much. And they're actually really helpful. Like I've used them as reference. I was like, oh, these are really good. I should read this, but I'm still not going to read them. No chance.
I'm going to do that.
They're usually better for reference. To
be honest. For sure. All right, last one. This should be simple. Leet code, unpaid or underrated as a big tech worker. Thoughts on Leet code?
Oh, underrated. 100% underrated. Like you can't have enough Leet speak in your life.
You say Leet speak. Now,
pull this out, Nate. Are we talking are we calling people noobs?
I'm getting nerds like.
Are we on the same wavelength? Because I'm not a big Leet code guy, but I know big tech people are. Like I got buddies that are like, I want to apply for the big 5. All I do is answer Leet code questions. Leet speak, Leet code. Like the website you go, you do all the problems. You said Leet speak.
And
are we on different wavelengths?
Right. I'm on different wavelengths.
Oh my
Let me get back on your level. I have never done Leet code.
Okay. Good. I think it's
so
I'm not sure if I'm allowed to say this, but I think it's overrated. And I will use that word.
Well, I think you mean unpaid.
No, it is overrated. Out of this game, I don't understand.
Nate shows up to one podcast and bombs.
No. This isn't part of the game. This is my personal opinion. It's overrated. Okay, so we're on different wavelengths, but yes, Leet speak. Yeah, let's get more of that going. For sure.
Yeah, Leet speak underrated. I'll just go along with your opinion and say that Leet code is unpaid.
Yeah.
but Leet speak is FTW.
For the win.
Yeah, it's for the win.
Yep.
Yeah. GG.
Why I have to explain things for the listeners. So, for the Davids, they need shit explained to them.
Yeah. So
Jokes are
GG.
best.
GG no re. Let's move on. um.
ONG.
All right. So yeah, ONG for real. On God. Yeah. You know. I guess I have like three that are just two are Netflix based. I just ran when I just paused for the last time. I ran out and asked my wife if we have any like Netflix ones that we want to chat about, and then one that isn't. Okay, so unpaid or underrated. It's one of her favorites. I even kind of liked it. The Dragon Prince.
I have not seen it.
Okay, so that's fair. That's
Yeah.
fair. That was a risk. It was just based on the anime one from earlier, but like I don't like anime. I don't like the animation style. I actually fucking hated the animation style, but I really liked the storyline of the Dragon Prince. So I wanted to see if you were familiar with that. So we'll move on to the next one. Last Train to Busan. Unpaid or underrated?
I also haven't seen that one, unfortunately.
Really? Okay.
If only he had a website that could tell us everything that he's seeing.
So my challenge to you, honestly, if you are like we were kind of hinting there, like we might be horror friends, you've got to watch Last Train to Busan. It is a Korean zombie movie where they have this idea where if they get on this train to get out of their town, that they will somehow survive. Probably the best zombie thing ever made since like some of the original zombie stuff. I don't think Netflix has it. I feel like I watched it on Netflix originally.
Sure it's on there. It's on my watch list, I thought.
It may have left. I can check. I will tell you I have a Netflix superpower, which is I have the ability to basically travel to any country without leaving my house. So if it's available in any of the countries that Netflix streams, then I can watch it for debugging purposes. So I can watch it.
You have me and Keith telling you
it's still on there.
Definitely watch Last Train to Busan. If we're gonna be horror friends here, absolutely that movie is top tier. So I'm 0 for 2. So
literally it all comes down to this one.
Yeah, this is the last one. This one holds all the marbles. Unpaid or underrated, The Boo at the Zoo.
Boo at the Zoo is definitely underrated. So for people that don't know, it's a costume contest around the time of Halloween. I participated 2 years in a row in Melbourne, Florida. I've never lived in Melbourne, Florida, but I did a group Halloween costumes with my friends, and we won both years. I will tell you though, the first year I did it, I thought it was like just that one weekend that we went. And I learned later on that they did it like 5 weekends in a row. And so I was disappointed that we weren't just like the best costume of the entire Halloween season. But yeah, it is definitely underrated.
Okay, so in all fairness, just one more thing. What was your favorite costume?
Probably the first year that I did it. We did a whole like Finding Nemo theme, and I was dressed up as a sea anemone. But if you look at a picture of me, I look like a box of French fries because I've got like pool noodles sticking out of a shirt.
Yes.
With like some fish drawn on the shirt.
We had notes on a pool noodle costume, I believe, somewhere.
Some udon noodles.
He said he had udon noodles flying out.
Udon noodles, yeah, exactly.
Well done, well done, Harkin.
Bringing it full circle. Someone's got to pay attention here. Get the YouTube links, the jokes.
Well, I think everyone had 3. I only got 2, so I'm going to throw one more at you real quick before we move on.
Do it up.
So many good ones. Android devices.
Android devices are unpaid. I'm a bit of an Apple fanboy. My first 2 smartphones were Android devices, and they were fine. They worked. They could make phone calls. They could kind of run apps.
I don't run apps.
But yeah.
That one threw me because like most like tech, anyone I know that's like super techy, I always feel like are Android guys. So I don't know.
No. Hard disagree.
I don't know.
It depends.
Maybe
I
it's
think
just
it's,
my personal interactions with a handful of techie guys that I know.
I want to put one thing out there for techie people. The Google Nexus 6P. Gigantic phone, incredible camera, probably the greatest Android phone I've ever owned. Huawei made it, actually. Huawei did that was their last with Google. No, I think the Nexus 5 might have been the Huawei's last one. God, that phone was the best phone I think I've ever owned in my life.
No,
and
I've been good stuff.
I've been Apple since. I've just been Apple since. Like it's just so reliable. It's easier. So I just want to say most like young, stupid, techie people, sorry to say this, are definitely, I hate Apple. Apple's the worst. I do what my Android stuff. But at the end of the day, no, I just get Apple. God, it's so much easier.
Getting my wife an Apple phone the other day was pretty, or like a few months ago was pretty awesome. She still doesn't know when I podcast, but she does have an Apple phone at least.
Yeah.
All right, and that'll round out unpaid or underrated. So it'll move us into one of our last topics here. Big Joey, do you have anything for at least two of the three hosts? Because we had a little extra host, so I don't know if we can have you if you got anything for him on the fly, or if they're something we can round robin and I'll answer. But hit us with whatever you got, bud.
Yeah, so I'll just start reading some of my questions, and anyone can dive in. What is it like to run a meme page on Instagram with almost 20,000 followers?
I don't know.
Don't know.
Oh, I'm sorry. This is embarrassing. I was told Matt was going to be here, and so I prepared some questions for him. This is. I'm sorry. Let me.
We couldn't get Matt, and that's why I'm here. I'm sorry.
Yep. I mean, the vast improvement, if you ask me.
I didn't say it. That wasn't me. Keith said
it. Wait.
Don't come for me.
Matt has 20,000 followers?
Yeah, like 19.
He does, yeah.
That's probably why
19.8 thousand.
A fucking guy.
Okay, so he doesn't have 20,000 followers. Let's just set that straight.
Yeah, so he's close to funny. He's funny adjacent.
I run data analysis. That's not 20,000.
Come back to me when you're at 20, you unfunny bastard.
He'll probably be at 20 by the time dinner is actually ready.
So it's funny because he smokes meat and it doesn't get ready on time. Explain that one for
Thanks,
Keith.
because you're explaining jokes now. So happy you're here. All right, Joe.
Right, so
what else do you have?
So one of the things I like to post on my Instagram stories is rate the RPE. So I'll show videos of my lifts and I'll ask people to vote on what they think the RPE was. So I decided to come up with a list of just kind of like everyday things and ask the hosts to rate it on an RPE scale. So anyone can chime in with these. Waking up early.
RP 5. Not hard.
Yeah.
Not hard for Keith.
I mean, I think it depends on the day's readiness. Right? Like, some days it's harder than others. Keith and I are early people. I know that because Keith and I will be texting and then Joey will text back like
3 hours later.
3 hours later. But I don't know, probably like a 5 or 6 lately. 3 kids in, it's getting more and more difficult, I feel like, as the years progress.
Because you don't get to go to sleep earlier. That's the biggest problem. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, 5, 6. It's probably a fair RPE. Joey, how about you?
So full disclosure, if I don't have anything to drink, if I am completely hydrated, if my kids haven't if my kids haven't woken me up 16 fucking times in the night, I could get up at 5 o'clock and I'm good. I'm good for the whole day. And actually this morning I was up at 5 o'clock and laying in bed going, well, how do I go to the gym without waking the kids up and blah, blah, blah. So I've been up since 5 o'clock this morning. Those days are 6, 7 RPEs. Days like where I have a couple beers and the kids have kept me up till 11 p.m. and so yeah, those are 8 or 9 fucking RPEs. I actually love waking up very early, and I go out of my way to try and do it. I bought a new alarm clock, which I think you guys can kind of see that red behind me.
That's what that is.
Yeah, so that red behind me is actually a white noise machine that is also a sunrise simulator. Because I got sick of being woken up by the annoying sound of alarms. So that thing will simulate a sunrise for 10 minutes before my alarm. I'm always awake before the alarm because I don't want to be jolted awake. Jolted awake is so bad for you. And I'm going to become the fucking guy on the podcast that does the like, but like it's so bad for you. And your day starts where you're mad. You're mad when your alarm goes and you fucking wake up and you're like, ah. So I started doing a little bit of a different thing where I could easily wake up most days earlier than most. Tomorrow I'll be up at 6 a.m. and be fine. I'll be grumpy for probably the first 15, 20 minutes, but that's just when all the warm liquids, the pee, the coffee, the shower, all of that warm liquid morning shit starts. And then I'll be fine.
It's now the Huberman podcast.
Sort of in the same subject area, going to bed early.
RP 10.
Yeah. I have no clue what you're talking about. work till 7 o'clock, come home, get the kids ready, get dinner ready, get the beer ready, get the cooler ready, do the podcast up till 11, 12, 30 p.m. Yeah, there's no such thing anymore.
Nah, that's like a 5.
Fuck you. Must be nice. Mister, I'm not even going to edit this week. I'm so tired. I hope there's nothing I'm missing.
Tired. It's never tired. It's just the amount of hours in the day run out.
It is funny because like Nate or Joey and I will still be texting back and forth like after 10 o'clock, and Nate will never chime in. And then like Nate and I will be going at like 5 or 6 some mornings too before Joey chimes. Like,
so what we learned is
not that Joey doesn't chime in sometimes, but like that's just funny.
So what we learned is Keith doesn't sleep, is what we're learning.
But also,
I get a good 5 hours.
But to be fair, I just don't look at my phone. It's not that I'm not awake or that I don't like acknowledge it. I just have set times where there's no screens.
This is the Huberman podcast.
Yeah, I don't want it. I don't want screens are bad for you. They're going to murder you.
Yeah, we've been looking at one for 3 hours.
Yeah, I just don't want to do this anymore. Too many screens.
No, I
love this game though. Rating everyday shit on an RPE scale. Like I love RPE. This
is fantastic. This is great.
I will say, I think it is difficult to get to bed early. I think it's very difficult to get to like doing things that are regimented and like not something that everyone does is difficult. Like there's a reason that I go to bed at 10:30 every night, and the reason that I wake up at 5:30 every night. It's because like I have 6 million things to do in between those hours. And if I don't sleep between those hours, one, waking up at 5:30 to lift when you don't get sleep the night before is the worst experience you will have in your life. Like waking up just absolutely exhausted just sucks. So it's like I need to sleep for 7 hours or just everything just falls on its face. Because it's like, work out in the morning, feel terrible, start working for 8 hours at a screen, and you're just like, to Joey's point, screens will kill you. It is like within hour 6 of the day, I'm dead. So it's like, it's hard. Like doing anything, to get touchy-feely, Andrew Huberman, like you got to set the regimen, the schedule, and it's not easy. But, somebody's got it.
I'm in sales, right? So like I might wake up at 6 a.m. tomorrow morning. I might wake up at 5 a.m. Whatever time I wake up, I'm going to go to work, and I'm only there because people need things from me. And it's an entire 8 hours of just people needing things from me. And it's just a hard thing at some point where like you can't go at 4:30 and lift because you've literally been drained by vampires for 8 hours. And I get like that's nothing on them. That's literally what pays me. It's not a negative review of those people, but like yeah, like you're just fucking exhausted. And then you go home and now toddlers need you and wives need you and children need you and you don't get to go to bed till they're in bed. And yeah, going to bed early is definitely RP fucking 10 for me because it's you just don't have the option. And then some fucking dummy makes you record on a Tuesday.
But you're the one that's got to go to fucking.
Yeah, I'm the fucking dummy. Yeah. I'm the fucking dummy right now. That's making us record on the Tuesday.
I was like, this is a Joey. This was a Joey thing.
I thought we were recording on Monday.
Yeah, this is the fucking dummy. I'm the dummy.
Who are you, my wife?
I'm Joey.
Oh yeah, he fucking DM'd me last night, and I was like, wait, no, we're not. What? No, we're not recording tomorrow.
Wait, what day do we record? Fuck, I'm so tired. Like that was me.
Tuesday. You're too busy over there getting your saran wrap peanut butter out of the fridge.
Yeah.
Is that how you guys do it?
All right.
That's such a fuck you. I'm not falling for that bit. That's not real. Fuck you. What do you got, Joe? You got a couple more? Or this I'm actually having a lot of fun.
I got a couple more. So I was gonna do this one as vacuuming, but I don't know if everyone has carpeting, so I'll just say cleaning floors.
Ooh. My wife's gonna listen to this. That's like a 10 because I never do it. I'm also very bad at it. So yeah, bad at clean. My wife will hand me the broom and be like, "Hey, can you sweep up the stuff over there?" I'm like, "Yeah, got it." And I look at that, I'm like, I did an excellent job. Like everything is clean. She'll walk over and there will just still be stuff covering the floor. Bad at cleaning floors over here. Very, very bad. RP 10, 11 probably. It murders me.
I mean, for me, it's probably like the act of like finding the motivation to do it is like a 7, but like the ability to keep and get my house clean with 2 cats and a wife that has a head of hair that just always ends up on the floor. Like she's killed vacuums, like just the amount of hair that gets in the vacuum head. Like I've spent hours of my life cutting hair out of like the head of a vacuum. I spent hours pulling hair out of a drain. Like women's hair has like literally I've at least 30 to 40 hours of my adult life spent dealing with cleaning up my partner's hair.
Just go pick it off the swirl in the bathtub. Does she not do that? Does she not do the swirl in the bathtub?
You got to do the swirl in the
swirl in the bathtub is where it all comes from. Yeah. I personally,
do you mean just like where it's stuck to the wall?
Yeah, and they just like they like brush and then they put it on there and they swirl it so it sticks to the wall. And then they never clean it up, and then you have to go do that.
Yeah, so I see that in people's apartments regularly.
I recently saw like a product that's like sticky notes. So you do that with the hair and then put it on a sticky note, and the sticky note comes off of the wall.
Yeah, but the hair also comes off the wall, so the sticky note is fucking moot.
Well, no. It's like a huge pad that you put the hair on, and then you pull the
I know,
the
but you could just pull the hair off the ceramic wall. Like you don't need.
Yeah, but I can't make any money doing that, Joey. This is called entrepreneurship.
I'll tell you.
Use code Big Nate at checkout.
I'm actually such a big fan of vacuuming and cleaning floors to the point that I'm not allowed to do it because my real general rule is I've seen that for 2 days. It's garbage. I will go through the house, and if I've stepped on it, tripped over it, or have to sweep it up more than once, that must be garbage. You left it on the floor this long. It can't be that important. And my whole family hates that rule. I love throwing things out. I love getting rid of trash and garbage and useless shit. And unfortunately, if you've looked at that for more than 2 days, yeah, that's probably garbage. No, that's my scrunchie. That's your scrunchie? Why is your scrunchie on the floor? I saw it on the floor 2 days ago. Therefore, that scrunchie must be garbage. And yeah, that's actually that's probably the biggest contention between me and Morgan
Yeah, good way to piss off your wife, and it's like well, also a good way to get out of cleaning the house because you just
No,
do it
I'll
so
because
aggressively
I'll
that she'll
just
tell you
sweep it
not
all
to
into
do
the
it.
dumpster. Like I'll
Yeah.
just I'll be like, okay, I've been home for 2 days. I've been trying to help you clean things up, and now I just have to sweep everything into the garbage. So I actually love sweeping the floor and vacuuming the floor. Nobody likes when I have to do it.
It is a nice feeling walking on a freshly like mopped or cleaned floor, though. It's just like, oh, that feels different, which means like, oh, how dirty was that?
Yeah, yeah, and that in my house, that is not how that goes.
All right. For the next one, I'm gonna say cooking.
Cooking for me is probably like a 7.5 to an 8. Like I can grill, but like making a meal, fuck that. Like I'll microwave some vegetables and grill some chicken or steak. Other than that, it's like I do make some decent eggs and toast and some like bacon and stuff. Like I'll make breakfast, but I'm not like making like a 3-course meal ever. So yeah, difficult.
Go Nate. Yep, I see you
No,
just leaning in there.
I wanted Joe to go because I want his takes first.
I
Because Joey's a big foodie. At least he used to be.
Oh fuck! I used to love cooking. Yeah, let's not. I used to love cooking until I met my wife, and she's so much better at it than I am. And then like one day I just realized I forgot how to fry a fucking egg. Like I used to love cooking my own eggs. And I would go in and then you just like crack it and you just like break the yolk because I love them over hard and you would add your salt and you would add a little bit of hot and then I was like, okay, yeah, I can make my own eggs. She goes, can I make your eggs this morning? And I'm like, yeah, sure. Like, sure, I'll just spend time with the kids. And she introduces me the egg, which is exactly the same egg I cooked, but 20 times better. And I'm just like, now I don't want to do this anymore. You are so much better at this than I am. So yeah, RP 8 to 8.5 for me for cooking because if you leave me to it, I can do it. If you give me a day's notice and you're like, honey, tonight you're cooking pasta, I will murder that pasta. I will make the best fucking red sauce pasta you can make. I will make the best like homemade mac and cheese you can make. I will make all those things. But if you can do it and you're my wife, then you should probably do it.
All right, Nate, how about you?
I'm really thinking about this because like difficulty level for cooking. I mean, it depends, right? Like, what are you cooking? I think that's where the trouble lies because like if we're just cooking an egg, it's like 1 RP, like easy, unless you're doing some like fancy like.
I hear what I just said. Cooking eggs is the hardest thing in the world.
Well, depends. I think it depends.
Did you know that I used to be able to hard boil an egg? I used to be able to do that. That was so easy for me for years. And then somehow my wife, found a way to hard boil an egg and then fry it in butter to make it better.
That sounds
And then
exciting.
Suddenly I learned I don't know shit about hard boiled eggs. She's like,
I think I need your wife's recipe for hard boiled eggs.
Yeah, well, it's a Mediterranean recipe, right? So she would like, I just saw it on TikTok and I was like, is this real? And she's like, yeah, I'll do it tomorrow. And then she fucking did it. And it's like you brown the butter, you make your hard boiled eggs, you brown the butter, you just like flip them in the browned butter, and then you make like a Mediterranean salad. Like it used to be that cooking was easy, and then the wives come in and they're just like, can you just take the kids for 30 minutes to give me some time? And you're like, yeah, sure, I'll go be a big dumb guy and let kids jump on me. And then she shows up with a fucking 4-course meal. Anyway,
did a kid jump on you today and you accidentally sent a text too? Was that a thing that happened?
Yeah, I texted. I was like, hey, I was giving updates. I was like, I'm gonna be running close to time. Like, okay, I should be there. And I just get a text from Joey that says like, don't do that. And I was
please
like,
don't.
Oh,
no, please don't.
Please don't. And I was like, I guess I'm not getting on the podcast then. He's like, oh, sorry, that was a voice to text. I accidentally said a kid just jumped on me.
Yeah, so I had my phone in my hand. I was texting Nate. And then I guess I must have hit the voice to text button because my son went, I'm going to jump on you. And I was like, no, please don't. And then I guess that got sent to you guys.
And I was
Yeah,
like,
that's
I guess I'm not
very-
getting on the podcast then. I'll go to bed then. See you
Yeah,
guys.
but that left room for Morgan to cook a great meal to bring it back into the center.
Yeah, I don't know though. Apparently I should rate it an RPE 10 according to Joey. But I I've I have like a really big fascination with like cooking. I think cooking's awesome. Like I've ever since like my wife and I went and bought like a cast iron pan. I was like, I want to like learn how to use this right and like do all the cool things and like understand like all these techniques. And I want to do all of that.
Mhm.
I don't think I'm good at any of that. But it's like I aspire so much to like you watch The Bear and you're like, I want to be Carmy. Like I want to just be like, oh yeah, that needs acid. Like I want to be able to know that. And like, so maybe it is a 10 for me because I aspire so much to be this good cook that can do a hard boiled egg and butter and whatnot. But I'm like, here, let me put some chicken in a pan and throw some seasonings on it. It's like, let's make Thai peanut chicken, honey garlic chicken, some variation of chicken and rice. It's like, I'm not a good cook, but I can make it and it's edible. So I don't know. But yeah, cooking, underrated. Yeah. RP something. I don't know.
All right. The next one I have on my list is leaving for work.
I mean, I guess RPC. I mean, I got to do it. Like, you can't not, right? Outside of the last 2 days, since Joey got me and Nate sick via our text thread last week. So, like, I did not go to work Friday or Monday, but yeah, normally it kind of is what it is. The shittiest thing is like snow. Not if I don't register that we got 2 or 3 inches of snow, and then that takes me an extra like 5 minutes to get the car ready. Or even if it's not snow, it's just super frosty. Like I've got a really old car with shitty gaskets, so my fucking windshield gets like extra icy versus some of the other people's cars. So like I got to put a little more effort into it. But I think in general, like I don't know, like leaving for work, you're just like, what are you gonna do? Not go get paid? So I don't know, like a 5, I guess.
What are you going to do? Not squat the weight, Keith? That's how
Yeah.
RPE works.
So, God, leaving for work. I actually can get up and go to work anytime. It's so easy. And you know what makes it hard? When your son looks at you and goes, "Hey, can I come to work with you today?"
Nothing more soul crushing.
Fuck, dude. And you're like, "No, you have to go to school." And he's like, "No, I'd rather spend the time with you." And you're like, "That's not how life works." So, uh, leaving for work without kids, 6, 7 for sure. Easy RPE. The moment your kid goes, "Yeah, I'd like to come with you. Can you have they hit you with the, hey, can you just stay home with me today?"
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'll have my druthers here in a second. But yeah, I've had every variation.
That's RPE 9 and 10.
Yeah.
That one's like, I would love to not go to this terrible place where people just yell at me all day. I and stay here where you yell at me all day because at least I like you. So
yeah, leaving for work for me is a weird thing. So this last job, so I was like remote for a good amount of time, COVID, yada yada. So last job I went back into the office, and as a dude who works out in the morning and all of that, like the act of like just getting out of the house to me isn't like difficult. But I've been, since our youngest son has been born, I was like, hey, I'm going to be remote just to be around the house to help. And I just haven't gone back to the office for 6 months. And no one's really said anything about it. So I haven't been leaving for work at all. So I don't know if that's an RPE 10 or an RPE 1 at that point. But like to Joey's point, like it is, I keep thinking about going back to work. It's like I need to get back in the office just a couple times to be with people to like suss stuff out. And I'm like, I don't know if I can get out of the house. Like, I don't know how, like once you do it, it's like easy. It's like, here's what we do. Here's the routine. Boom, out the door. But like, once you've been just, all right, we'll just take a shower and walk downstairs, turn the computer on and go. It's like, man, getting a lunch ready, like putting shoes on, getting in the car, like that sounds impossible. Like it just, I don't know if I could do it. So it depends. Dave Tate quote copyright. RPE 10 is what leaving for work feels like right now. But yeah, and also like the kid stuff. There's nothing worse than like your kid being like, "Can I come with you?" Like, why are you going? Why are you leaving? Why aren't you going to stay with me? But like working from home is the benefit of like, oh, like yesterday I was in a meeting and uh both of my children ran down the stairs, ran next to my computer with just like underwear on their heads. And so you do get like it is like, sometimes it would be nice to be in the office, but this is pretty funny. Like, it's like, hey, hold on one second. There's two men attacking me with underwear on their heads, and everyone's like, what? It's like, just children, just children. We're all good. No one's broken into the home. But yeah, so RPE 10 right now, it'd be literally impossible.
All right, that all makes sense. I'm gonna do one more, and then I think I'll call it there. Getting started in the gym. It's like getting your workout started.
That's tough. Some days it's literally a 1, and some days it's a 10. So, but like for others, like today, it's just like, well, bench day is super easy. Like I'll, it's like a 3-minute warm up, and I'm like under the bar, and I'm already like up to like 2 plates in like 5 minutes half the time. And it's just like boom, boom, boom. Squat, like I'm not taking a working set for like fucking almost an hour sometimes on squats.
Yeah.
Like it's just like nah. And then usually I'll have one of my buddy Chris will be over on Sundays too, but like I don't know, like as far as like just the intent to go downstairs, I'm not. I don't know, like you just fuck around on your phone. It's so much hard. Like I do notice when I'm at a commercial gym, I can train in like 90 minutes or less, like always. Like so, I guess if you factor that in, it maybe is more difficult to get started at home. But I don't know. There's so many different caveats to that of like how I could take it. Like some days I have great quick workouts, and other times I'm literally down there for 4 hours and I did an hour and a half worth of work. So I guess I'll call it a 7.
The safest RPE.
I'm about done with hypertrophy. Like I'm hypertrophies, I guess, like whatever.
Joey said he wanted to get small again this week. I'm done with hypertrophy. He really does want to get small again.
Fucking done with hypertrophy. It's like because I'm on Juggernaut, I open it and I was like, I got to work out today. And if I'm feeling amazing, this is the thing, I'm feeling amazing. Okay, like I slept, I had good calories, like I'm okay. I'm not tired. I'm gonna go down and work out. And then I'll open it and it'll go, well, you got a top set of 6 at like fucking ridiculous weight. And then you've got 6 more sets after that. I'll be like, yeah, but what's my like hotel game doing on my phone that I could just like waste another 30 minutes not doing that? So I think if if it's a hypertrophy block, I fucking hate it. I hate it. I'm so done with hypertrophy blocks. And then I tried to get out of them, but Juggernaut would not let me get out of them. So God, getting into the gym is really hard. But like I have like little just like rituals. Like rituals are probably your biggest savior. Just like little like I take my pajamas off and I put my tiny shorts on and I go and I take my nitric oxide and I might go and take my pre-workout. And these are all things that are just like they help you control the next 2 hours of your life in the gym. And if as long as you can commit to those, you'll end up in the gym every time. Right? And actually the most recently I was complaining about my creatine having beta alanine in it.
Mm-hmm.
It's fucking weird that my creatine has beta alanine in it, but because Ghost makes it, Ghost does whatever they want whenever they want. And it's like like it has tingle
You don't want the face
to
tingles.
it. And it's like that's another thing that's just like the more you work out, the less tingle you get. So if you take it half an hour before your workout, you start tingling, and then you're like, well, this is just another signal to get into the gym. So I will say that like if I didn't have those little rituals where I just have to do those things, fuck, that's a 9 or 10. I wouldn't. I would much prefer to sit on the couch, stare at my phone, and watch horror movies. absolutely. But with these little rituals, it actually comes about 7 or 8. 7 or 8. 7 or 8.
I've been thinking about this a lot.
Oh, fuck. Here we go.
So it's just something I do at this point. Because it's like the first thing I do in the morning. It is hard, but it always happens. So it's just like wake up 5:30, walk into the bathroom, pee, vitamin D, clothes on, walk downstairs, make a smoothie, drink smoothie, walk outside, go. Like it's just, it's an unmovable force.
It's rituals.
Yeah,
it's rituals. Like like everything is set up for you to get in there. Absolutely.
Also, no one else is awake to stop me most of the time, and if they are, I tell them go back to bed. It is you have no business.
Yeah, you're 3. You're not stopping me from the gym. I can hurt you.
Also, please don't wake up at 5:30. Your day will be terrible. Like you don't need this. So in that respect, I think it's like a 3. My typical problem is just explosive diarrhea in the morning.
Oh my God, yes. Yep, yeah, absolutely.
Like the thing preventing me from getting out to the garage is just like I might have to poop a 3rd time for some reason. Why? I don't know. But like if I don't get to a toilet right now, everything is going to be covered in poop. And
I wish I brought that up.
It doesn't make any sense.
Yep.
So I think that like that's the most difficult part about working out is just like, did I clear everything out? Because if not, I'm gonna be mid warm up and it's like, okay, I can either take this first working set and risk pooping my pants, or I just go inside now and I'm going to lose like 5-6 minutes and I only have like 45 minutes left. And if I can hit this working set without pooping my pants, I can go the rest of the workout. But and sometimes you just got to poop your pants and keep going, Eddie Cohen style. So, just, yeah.
I genuinely wish I had brought that up because it's like honestly I brought up the taking your pre-workout, taking your nitrous oxide. Yeah, okay, I'm ready. Yeah, this is it. Gonna do my warm-ups. Juggernaut's got me doing the bird dogs and the dead bugs and we're good. No, we're not. And then you run up and you hope there's nobody in the washroom because I live in a house with 1 washroom and 3 adults and 2 children, and you just hope there's nobody in there. And then you go, okay, so this is going to add 10 minutes, but I have to be at work in 2 hours. So we're going to keep doing that. So yeah, I wish I'd brought that up. That's a good call.
The worst is shitting with knee sleeves on. Like I'm not taking if I take my knee sleeves off, I'm never getting them back on. So like, but
thank you for bringing that up. Thank you.
Knee sleeves, squat shoes, and a squatty potty. It's like, oh my God, my knees are like in the freaking ceiling.
And a squatty potty, yeah.
Like, oh, wow.
Squatty potty, let's roll. Let's roll.
I love my squatty potty.
You got your knee sleeves up, and you're like, oh, they hurt too much to take off. That's gonna pull out hair, but like, I gotta go now. Oh, that's a good call. That's a very good call, Keith.
Dude, I start sweating. There's no way I'm putting them back up. Like they're just
your pants
off.
No.
My knee sleeves, dick. I know. We have to explain it to everyone.
Keith, you're in a basement gym. No one's gonna know if you squat butt naked.
Yeah, that's true.
Squatty potties are so great though. Had a travel one for a while that folded up, was sick. Squatty potties, underrated. Can we get
underrated?
I'll make it a poll next week.
Can we get them as a sponsor, Keith? Can we work that up? Affiliate code for Squatty Potty.
I love that. Since the sister podcast said they cover some of our sticker dues, I'm just like, I don't do affiliate ad reads anymore. It's just like I'm good.
Yeah, use our code. We're working on getting sponsored by Dude Wipes as well to sponsor our pants pooping stories.
I do like my Dude Wipes. I definitely have to have those with me on those wet days.
Yeah.
And Joey goes, hey, how do you guys get ready in the morning? And we just spent like fucking 8 minutes going on about pooping.
I love
because this is the podcast about pooping.
Yeah, that's what the podcast is.
Podcast about crew, by crew, for crew, about pooping.
Yeah.
New tagline.
All right, you guys want to wrap this up? Like, do we? Is there anything else?
I thought we were going for 5 hours.
I do have one thing I want to mention.
Oh fuck! Here we go.
No. This is more of a statement. It shouldn't. Really
Labor unions, unpaid or underrated.
Fuck you. No, this is one of the big Jen had responded to the Instagram thing. She basically had commented how I'm orange glaze. Does that make you the purple haze?
Uh,
That's all I
I
had.
might be.
Do you have an IMDb account? Because we could make this a thing. Us working together could be even better.
I was gonna say, I feel like if anybody's gonna bring that up, that's not a good. That's not a bad call.
If we build it, they'll come.
Jeez.
The purple haze.
All right. Yeah, let's start this outro, boys. I think we're good. Everyone happy? Everyone set?
I'm fucking exhausted.
I'm
right.
looking back through the show notes. I think we missed some stuff, guys.
I will literally murder you.
So speaking of our affiliates, please, Obsidian Ammonia, Barbell Rescue, Plate Snacks, Home Gym Con, all code unpaid. Go ahead and use that. Save 10 to 15% and help us buy a speedboat.
Yep, we need a speedboat.
Well, I mean, I need a speedboat. I don't.
God, I wish I knew the speedboat joke.
What do you mean? There's no joke, Joey. We need a speedboat.
The speedboat is real.
Oh,
it will be.
I love inside jokes. One day I want to be a part of one.
We're going to buy a speedboat and we're going to ride on it. I don't know what there isn't to get about that. And
there's no boats. We all live inland.
I live by Lake Erie.
I could throw a rock and hit
So
Lake
does
Erie.
Keith.
I'm literally like less than 3 miles from Lake Erie.
What the fuck is Lake Erie?
Oh my gosh.
Lake Ontario.
What?
I'm by Lake Ontario, not Lake Erie. My bad.
Okay.
Oh. Is that one of those big lakes in the middle of the continent?
Yeah, maybe.
It's the Great Lakes. They literally have a name for them.
I think this has got to be.
What are they called?
The Great Lakes.
They were called Grand Lake.
Yeah, Grand Lakes. Okay, yeah, I know Grand Lakes. I don't know Great Lakes. You guys are speaking American. I don't fucking understand.
You don't know Lake Erie. Anytime I think he's doing a bit. He's got to be.
He's got it. Yeah, just like you did with your mic this morning. All right,
that wasn't a bit.
This morning we've been recording for 12 hours.
All right, so Instagram, Unpaid and Underrated Podcast, or website, unpaidinternpodcast.com, where Nate spends way too much time. I'm Big Keith. You can follow me at Keith Honeycutt 73. Go follow my Orange Gym, the No Wine Cellar. Big Joey, where are they going to find you?
Which Big Joey? You want to tag one of us in?
I'm Joey.Echeverria on Instagram, and it's spelled exactly how it's pronounced.
All right. What about you, Nate? Where are they going to find you?
You can find me at glazesearch.com, where you'll find all of your movie watching needs. You can share that with your friends. We've implemented infinite scrolling. So I watched my friend do it the other day. She pulled up Glaze Search and she just scrolled forever. It's just like Instagram, but more addicting and more informational. If you find a movie you want to share, you can share that. You don't know what to watch, you can click the find a movie for me. It'll find a random movie. It'll give it to you.
You can also find Nate at Dave Tate's.
Tatesounds.com.
Yeah, there it is, tatesounds.com.
Yaksounds.com.
Where we're working on making Tate Sounds
an alarm clock.
An alarm clock, yep.
Restaurant Retriever, that was me. You need to find a random restaurant in your area. I got that one. And then we've got a secret project. I think Jake mentioned this, but we're gonna slide this in here. Secret project working on for the Lift Hard Live Easy Classic. I don't know what more to say, but there's going to be a thing that I think will be there. That's going to be a very large focal point that may or may not be developed by the developer of glazesearch.com.
Cool. I'm glad you brought that thing that doesn't matter up.
It matters a lot.
It's
called hype. It's called hype, Joey.
We all know what he's talking about. I do.
I don't think I've ever laughed so much during an episode. This has been wild. Find me at Joey_Malesko MLE. He's at KO. But most importantly, just follow the podcast because Keith controls that and you can leave me the fuck alone for a while. But Keith, what's our outro, buddy?
See you next Tuesday, boys.